See, we on yet? We on? Wrong thing, wrong thing. Coop in the building. Mike D is in the building. It is Hump Day Wednesday. Hopefully you're getting your notifications, man. YouTube messing around with us. Tell a friend to tell a friend that we live right now. Coop, how are you doing on this Wednesday, sir?
I'm waiting for my notification.
Okay. You know what? I was gonna turn my phone off into airplane mode, but let me wait too. YouTube is playing games. I don't know if that's a universal thing. Thumbs up in the chat, so the word can get around and everything to this show. And shout out to everybody that's in the chat on time. I know we're slightly late, but it is what it is. We here at 5. Shit, man. How was your week?
Busy, productive, fruitful.
Well,
We'll be talking to the audience about some things that we're doing.
yeah, man. It's a lot going on, man. We had an incredible interview with Jay Skis on Monday, and shout out to Jay Skis, shout out to LT, and the whole DrumWorks crew. But yeah, man. Now, what did you think? I mean, there was a lot of insight that I was able to get from Skis about the album and about him.
When I talked to him, I thought, this is the lane that Kanye helped create.
Mm-hmm.
He's super relatable. It's like the most special thing about him is that he's not that much different than me and you.
Right.
Like from a fan perspective. And that's something that in hip hop did not used to be endearing until Kanye made it endearing. And so that is some of the true Kanye effect, is just my overall macro view of it. Is that the Kanye effect is alive and real because people like Jay Skis finding their way into the game and doing it their way, like Conway to him, is super important. So footprints in the game, but also like just a very honest guy, very good communicator, very honest guy, very what you see is what you get, very real. Really enjoyed the interview. Can tell his love for writing, can tell his love for hip hop. Just like, yeah, it was really dope to talk to him. It's one of those things. It's almost like, it's like I was telling you, it's like, no, I have more questions. I could keep on doing this with him. And it's kind of funny. I felt the same way when we were interviewing Love.
Right.
Like I could keep on talking, like I could talk to her for another hour,
Talking to him, man, he sounds like such a creative. You know what I mean? And the creatives will always be able to create whatever their medium is, whether that's through fashion, whether that's through music, whether that's even moving on to production. I don't know if he has any aspiration for those things, but I got that from him, and it made a lot of sense that somebody that is a creative at heart was able to put together such a piece like this. Somebody who is, that eclectic, all around.
Hey, remember when I was telling you that I was locked up with Gerald Wilkins?
Mm-hmm.
And that he did something that drove a white man crazy?
What was that? I don't even remember what that was.
It was the whole brown and black thing that Skis was talking about. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Oh, okay.
Like, the white man was already, like, off his meds, and Gerald Wilkins was looking at him, and he was like, and he's sitting next to me, he's like, Coop. He was like, what are you? I was like, I'm black. He's like, no, you're brown. And the white dude looked, he's like, no, he's not. You're black, and so is he. And he said, shut up, I'm brown. And so is Coop. And so are all these other brothers. But we haven't been taught our history. And he went into this whole thing, and by the time he was done talking, the white dude wanted to go into like one of the solitary confinement cells in the holding cell to get away from us. And literally, the more he started talking about it, I'm not joking. You think I'm joking? This happened. This happened on County Services Road.
Mm-hmm.
Gerald Wilkins walks up to the counter. He gets a white sheet of paper, and he starts thumping on the paper. He's like, this is white. Starts thumping on the paper. The white dude starts going nuts. It's like, now go ask for a black sheet of paper, Coop. I was like, they don't have a black sheet of paper. He was like, but you know the difference between a black sheet of paper, brown sheet. I could keep on going, but the white dude was in the holding cell, like in the solitary, losing his mind because Gerald Wilkins was dropping knowledge. True story.
knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about something this weekend. 007 came into town, hollered at us, came to the studio. We got a cipher on the way. Y'all be on the lookout for that as well. It's in its final editing stages, but that'll be posted up on our YouTube channel also. But there was a conversation, and I hate to bring this individual up, but you know, we kind of got a light subject matter day. Might as well toss some things around. 007 said that Eminem is a top 5 hip hop talent. And I disagree with that because when I think of a talent, I think of somebody like Yasin Bey, Mos Def, who's just natural with the words. Like they just flow out. Like, you know, how he's in the car with Dave Chappelle. I would say Mos Def to me is a top 5 hip hop talent.
I just watched the Dave Chappelle Mos Def thing about 2 nights ago, too.
Yeah. To me, I've always said Mos Def is the most naturally talented hip hop artist that, one of them at least. You know, I would say Rakim's there too. And if we talk about a hip hop talent, where does Kanye lie in this? I know you mentioned the Kanye effect. That's what made me think about this. It's like, and then not to mention the talent of somebody like a Jay-Z who doesn't write anything and who's able to just regurgitate. Like, we can't dismiss those talents. Biggie too, being able to tell stories just, you know, without even, you know, putting it down on paper. Biggie is definitely a top 5 hip hop talent.
What do you think about Beans, Mike?
Oh,
His
yeah.
talent level's off the charts.
Off the charts. I would pick Beans.
Everything well. He does everything well as an MC, Mike. You understand that? He does everything well as an MC.
From a talent perspective, as an MC, I would pick Beans over M. I think I might do the same for Jada as a talent. If we talk about talents, not supposedly, you know, because this is where this conversation came from. They were saying the talent just didn't translate to record. So
that happens.
Does Jada not get that pass too?
I think he's already gotten that. You know, we've kind of talked about this, so let's look at it from this perspective. Let's put Jadakiss in Chicago. Does he get the same amount of features that he's gotten?
No.
So what is he lauded for?
Jada's lauded for being similar to Busta Rhymes, being on great records. Now Busta has his own
he's beyond Busta. Like I think like he's not like no. Like you go to Kiss for literally the best 16 on your record now. And so I don't think Busta's ever been that. It's like, no. You're going to Kiss for your best 16 on your record.
Well, you go to Busta for a feature for Energy, I think, right? Is that the thing?
Right, Kiss ain't that. Like, you're going to Kiss for that best verse. It's like he's the king of the Hot 16.
Right. So with that being said, you're saying that his geographic location has benefited him in that manner?
Yes, it has, because let's say that M gets a lot of those same opportunities as if he's from New York to do some of those same guest appearances as a Busta Rhymes, as a Jadakiss.
I think if M's from New York, his rhythmic cadence is way different, right?
You got something against Detroit, Mike? What's up?
No, because I don't even consider Eminem Detroit like that, because his style, because musically and lyrically, his style's not even a reflection of the scene. I just got through listening, and I wanted to talk about Rod Digger's Dirty Harriet too. I still love that album. I was listening to it the other day. Celebrated 23 years, and I was listening.
Dirty Harriet.
I love that album, and I was listening to The Outsiders. M sounds more like Jersey than he does Detroit.
That's because Redman's his favorite MC.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I never really correlate his style with Detroit anyway, because if you ask me and I didn't even know, and he's coming out the gate, I'm listening to Any Man and the stuff that's around there. If you ask me if he's from Detroit or from Jersey, I'm gonna guess Jersey. And he said Tretch was one of his favorite rappers too. So yeah.
No, correct. Tretch and Redman, he lauds them. Yes.
And he rhymed with the Outsiders, so yeah.
And he rhymed with the Outsiders, yes. Yeah. And the Fugees, like, yeah. Like, so, okay, but listen to what I'm about to say. And I'll give it to you like in a personal manner that you can understand. Well, Mike, a lot of people that have heard you early on, and even when I heard you the other day when we were doing the cipher, I'm like, yeah, Mike is from Atlanta, and Mike loves Andre no matter what Mike says
Right.
when he comes on this show, because I can hear stylistically and vocally how he's influenced you. I don't care what you say.
I
But
love
here's what
Andre. I've never denied that.
hold on, but listen to what I'm about to submit to you though. The style of Andre that you actually incorporate is the style of his when he was getting compared to hieroglyphics, Mike.
It's true. And you know what? And that's more of a style that Big Boy kind of continued to run with. And some would hear me and say that I take on Big Boy's style as well. But,
See, but that's what I'm saying. See, but that's because they're not up on the early cast stuff and that, and understand that no, they both sounded like that early.
No, they did. I remember Ali Shaheed was saying that when he first heard them, he thought they were from the Bay. Not from the Bay. Yeah. He thought they were from Cali.
Yeah.
Esquire with a super chat says, y'all should interview Cormega in the future. He tapped in with his online audience and would appreciate y'all knowledge and approach to podcasting. I think that's a great idea, Esquire. We'll reach out to Cormega. I think that'd be really, really dope. Jay Short with a super chat says, pen to paper, I think Lupe is the most talented. But total package, I think it's Lauren. There you go. We really missed out on the top 5 iconic rap career, and that's true. So if we're talking about hip-hop talents, you can't leave out Lauren. You can't leave out, you know what? We got to keep it real. We can't leave out people like CeeLo either. Are you going to tell me that Eminem's more of a talent than CeeLo?
Okay, when we start talking about CeeLo and we start talking about Lauren, are we leaving the R&B vocalist side of it out?
Yeah, we can leave that out. Just their rhyming approach.
We're talking about some rap?
On some rap shit. The creativity, the way they... I mean, doo-wop, I think sometimes we get desensitized to songs that become like just part of our lives, right? We hear them so much and we don't really look at the greatness in those records. Right. Doo-wop is an incredible record.
In fairness to CeeLo, we have to be fair. And so what I would submit to you is that the way that you bring up doo-wop, with CeeLo's only record that's comparable to doo-wop is crazy, and he's not rapping.
He's not rapping, yeah.
And so what I will tell you is that as great as CeeLo is, that's what I'm trying to tell. Like, people don't understand is like, even though Lauren doesn't have a lot of records, it's like, oh, no. CeeLo doesn't have a doo-wop or a Lost Ones.
Not a lot of people in general have a doo-wop or a Lost Ones or...
That's what I'm trying to say. So when you're saying he's a top 5 talent, well, not in reference if you want to put him next to Lauren, because it's like, well, where's your doo-wop or your Lost Ones? Because you damn sure took more shots at it than Lauren did and didn't succeed.
I think
so. She would be the top 5 talent, and because she's the top 5 talent and they're comparable, that would slide him out.
Okay, that's fine. And I think that he, you know what,
Andre, I think Andre. For people that are going to ask, and Andre.
And Andre, yeah. And see, I know what I know when it comes to Andre and CeeLo. Like, I know that, well, CeeLo specifically, I know what he can do, but it's not enough evidence to really make that.
But Lauren has evidence. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Lauren has evidence that CeeLo and Andre don't have.
That's true. You know, and I think that the fact that they expanded to, you know, the more melodic side of, I guess, hip-hop music, or just more so R&B or alternative hip-hop, however you want to label it. I think that when it comes to just the straight MCing category, it doesn't work in their benefit. But when it comes to just overall artist category, it does work to their benefit. Now, yeah, you would have to say somebody like Jay-Z is a more talented, hip-hop artist as an MC, right? Like, this guy goes in there and does 1,000,001. This guy goes in there and knocks out lobster and shrimp in 15 minutes. That's talent. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Nas did the first verse to New York State of Mind in one take.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. The talent level of somebody like that, it's I don't know, man. I just never heard the Eminem stories about him in the studio. And somebody in the chat mentioned Lupe Fiasco as a writer. That's an incredibly talented MC.
Yes, okay, so the writing is there, but where is the songs on the level that are
Well, that's the
comparable?
pass that Eminem got to even get in this conversation, right? They were
No, I
saying
mean,
just
MC,
raw
this is what I'm
talent.
saying. Say whatever you want, but it's like, no, Lupe, I mean, what is Lupe's stand? Like, in terms of it being a notable record, but where the bar work is there too, and the record is notable. Like, what would you think? What would you say?
You don't think
I'm
Lupe
not. I'm
can
not.
make a
I'm not saying
stand?
it like. I'm not saying it in an honorary way. I'm saying it like in a question format type of way. Like, what is the record that you would compare to Stand that Lupe has?
I would say hip hop saved my life off the top of my head as far as a
That's
record that
not going to do it against Stan. That's
I
what I'm
just,
trying
you
to
know
say.
what, man, and I know people are gonna think
So
whatever.
execution matters.
I think people are gonna think whatever with it coming from me. I just don't think Stan is
It
everything
is.
people
It
have
is.
it
You
cracked up to be.
wild. You wild. You be wild, Mike.
I don't.
Lupe would tell you wild right now. I think, Mike. Like I don't know him. I mean, but I
I would
think
like to ask Lupe and
you
and
don't
his
think Stan. I don't
his
understand what it
like
is with you and
on a
like
grade
Stan.
from one
I
to
don't
10.
understand what is it with you and Stan and the way
I
I
just
am.
don't
Why
think
don't
it's
you
that great.
like what?
And
It's just okay to be one thing.
for somebody like Lupe who has written a
You
song like
wild.
Mural and has written like
You wild.
incredible lyrical masterpieces,
Murals
I
masterful.
would like to hear what he would rank Stan on a scale from
Okay,
1
listen
to
to what I'm
10.
saying though. Like, I believe Lupe has even said this in reference to Kendrick. He's like, well, if you want to say he's a better song maker than me, well then yes.
Hmm.
But lyrically, he's like, don't play with me.
Okay, well, all right. Let me
I
ask you
agree.
this: what do you give Stan on a scale from 1 to 10 as a song?
It's a 10.
I
What do
give
you
it a
mean?
7.
You think it's a what?
I think it's a 7. It's okay.
You're wild, Mike. Stan is not a 7, Mike. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, because Rewind's a 10. You know what I mean?
No,
I got a
Rewind's like a
story to
30.
tell as a
No,
10.
Rewind's like a 39, Mike. I get you.
Stan is a
Not,
7,
no,
bro.
not all tens are the same. No, we've talked about this. So, like, not all tens are the same way all fives are the same. Like, in terms of, like, okay, how about this?
I want to know what the people in the chat say. Put the numbers in the chat. Go ahead, Coop.
If you are doing it, okay, how about this? If we're doing a storytelling scale in terms of rating the song on a storytelling scale, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I would give it no lower than an 8.5, Mike. Like no lower than, like on a storytelling, and probably a 9. Because if your barometer is the I gave you power, rewind, I got a story to tell, niggas bleed, seen a man die, now I feel you, Ghostface, like
All that I got is
all
you.
that I got is you.
What's so impressive about Stan to you?
I think it's very well thought out and executed, Mike. I think one thing that is very key as a writer is not always the word that you use or the words that you use or even how that you group them together, is how those words, when they're grouped together, come off when you write them from the perspective of another character. He literally created a character, and the character is a fan of his. And so there's some of like art imitating life within that too. And so there's some reality of what he's going through shrouded in the storyline, because it's his piece of work where he's showing you how the art is imitating his life, but he's still making it artistic. And he put a name on it. You know what I'm saying? And think about it, Mike. It's part of the lexicon of the culture. How does ether go?
See, no. It's part of the lexicon.
A pussy, a what? A stand.
Exactly, but see, it's part of the lexicon because Nas used it in Ether. Before that, nobody was calling it.
But why did he? Hold on, think about it.
Because he was trying to be funny.
Use something like Stan to take a shot at Jay.
Because he knew he had just done a song with him and he was making fun of him. He was already making fun of the fact that this goofy character beat him on a song. So he was pulling all that together.
Like that, Mike. He used it as a rep, Mike.
It wasn't like that.
Hold on, this is what I'm saying. How about this? I told you this, Mike. The only time that I had heard the word ether used before is Jizzle on Killer Hills 103.04. All right? So when Nas uses lines and uses things as reference point, he's using them for valid reasons. So like he's using ether and Stan, He's using them because there's validity in the establishment of it for separate reasons. The metaphorical sense of ether, but the actual song stand.
No, it wasn't about. It wasn't. No. Let me go back.
No, the validity of. Hold on, let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. The validity of it is in somebody like Nas, while he's in the midst of doing this with Jay, referencing that song to reference Jay. Yeah, the song like that Nas will use it to reference Jay in their most heated moment. Yeah.
No, he used it in reference to this crazy, whacked out fan. And it was a term that he was able to use, saying that Jay was continuously following him around. And it was something that people, had heard. I mean, it is what it is. Which one would you, at the time, which one would you choose? Because it's 2001, the song is out, 2002, the song's out, been in rotation or whatever. Which one would you use to be more clever? Just say fan, that's basic. Well, let me go ahead and up it another level, and let's throw Stan in there, especially the fact that since he just did Renegade with the dude, it all connects. It ain't about how quote-unquote good the song is. It just made sense as a writer to do.
No, that's not true, Mike. I can't let you skip that over, because when you're saying bringing up the whole Renegade thing, no, Nas addressed the whole Renegade thing separately on Ether when he said, and Eminem murdered you on your own shit.
Exactly, but that came down the line. It was a build-up. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, Jay did say that Andre was the female Lauryn Hill. I'm sorry, hold on. He says, Jay did say that Andre was the I guess he means the male Lauryn Hill. LOL. Leroy Green with the super chat says, Coop, I'll put Nas Barkley album versus Lawrence any day. Interesting. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, someone told me that Tupac would end Nas in a versus. I felt that they were underselling Nas. I don't know, man. It would be really, really tough for Nas. Leroy Green with the super chat says, Kick Push, Superstar, Daydream, Coop, Classics.
I thought about Superstar. That's not Stan.
I didn't love Superstar as much as everybody else, but again,
me neither. I'm not big on the hook.
But yeah, I'm definitely not big on Stan like that. I think again, it's an overrated record.
It's not a 7. It's at least a 8.
I got it a 7, I think. I mean, the beat's dope. I'll give him that. Shout out to 45 King. 45 King came with the beat, and Dido came with the hook. Everything else is kind of.
Don't even think the vocal inflection changes has like the irateness in the fan. Is in you don't know none of that, none of the vocal changes, none of the dialect switches. None of the broken language has the artist like literally breaks down the perspective of the character breaking down. Like none of that has an artist that's been in the studio catches you and gives that record more than a 7. Mike, you are being so ridiculous right now.
Maybe
You're
an 8.
Ridiculous.
Maybe an 8. I mean, just for creativity, extra point for creativity.
Mike, it's wild. You understand what he's doing on that record? Most people like this.
I've heard. I mean, it's nothing I haven't heard. Somebody like Scarface or Ghostface do.
Mike, I've said this before, like he's just one of those people that when I was actually active, if he was to walk in the room, he's one of the few people that would make me go like, oh shit.
No.
Like, okay. Like, go time. And if you don't feel Mike, and if you don't feel that way about him, Mike, you're not being honest with yourself.
I mean, perfectly.
He's one of those guys.
I mean,
you wouldn't be like, Mike, Eminem don't walk into the studio and you like, oh, I got this guy. You wild. Who's not Jay?
You know what?
Nas,
if he's making the beat or something, maybe. But if it's a rhythmic beat, I can get him all day.
You really believe that, Mike?
Of course I do. No joking.
I'm
serious, man. No, he hasn't even proven that he can rhyme over a Dilla, a Premier track, man.
Mike, like when I'm active in like 05, 06, 07, if he's walking in the room, he's one of the few guys where I'm like, I need to not bring A game, but I need to bring all of my A game right fucking now.
Never looked at him like that, man.
Yes, he is like that.
I never looked at him like that, man.
You wild, Mike.
I'm serious. I've never thought of him like that.
Like me in like 2005, 2006, Mike, like being in Cali, if he would have walked into a room, like, no, I would have not like behaved or acted the same. Like, it wouldn't have been like another day at the office. It would have been like, oh shit, like, Okay.
Nah,
Let's go.
never really saw him like
No,
that.
dude. Like I don't agree, Mike. You're not giving that man his props. You're not giving that man his
I
props,
just
Mike.
never
He's
saw him
like
like
that.
that. Sorry.
No, he's like that, Mike. I'm sorry. Everybody else thinks he's at least like that, Mike. No, he a problem, Mike. Mm-hmm.
How?
I told you, Mike. People
Where?
don't. People
Hold on,
don't.
hold on.
Michael,
Where's the
Mike,
evidence of that?
people don't rhyme next to Black Thought and Yasin. Like people act like that's like a normal thing.
People rhyme next to them
MCs
all
don't
the
do that.
time. People rhyme next to them all the time. I mean,
Not at the
that
same
doesn't
time,
give
Mike. No,
him
they
any
do not. No, people
points.
do
Like,
not
you know
rhyme
what I'm
next to them all the
saying?
time that are normal.
And then
Normal
he
MCs
had
do
the
not rhyme next to Yasin
and he had the
Black Thought all the
third.
time. Show me the evidence that you have of that happening.
And then he came in third. So
Show me the evidence.
are we sending him?
No, you said people rhyme next to Thought and Yasin all the time. When?
Are we sending him to the White House for going third? He went. He was in third place. So what? You were in the same building as them, but you were in third place.
A lot of people feel like he had the best verse.
He said nothing. Literally. He literally said nothing.
This is wild.
Jay Short with the super chat says, if we're being honest, hip hop has wasted the talents of all the female MCs. Kim, Lauren, Eve, Light, the Brat. They could have added a different dimension. Not sure if the fans, industry, or both. I felt like that after listening to Dirty Harriet, man. I really feel like Busta and them tried at the time, but looking back on it, the shortcomings of that album was them trying to fit in with the times. I think that Break Fool, even though it was a single, it was Rockwell on the beat, the album could have went without that. I think the album could have went without Imperial. It definitely shouldn't have been the quote-unquote lead single, even though I know Tight was first. That Pete Rock song on there is incredible. That should have been put out. Like, stuff that was natural for her should have been put out. And I think that even to this day, it feels like the only people who have really nailed the whole marketing thing when it comes to, a female MC in that era, it was when Kim came out.
Thank you.
And Foxy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think even the Brat came out the gate strong, but because she didn't have an identity, it really affected her moving forward. Because it felt like, as far as her identity on the second, third albums, they were just trying stuff. She didn't really have you know what I mean?
I think that what would have fixed this whole Dirty Harriet issue, first of all, Tight's not a first single.
It's not really a quote unquote first single, but it's one of those singles that kind of like to get your attention. Kind of like Charlie Baltimore's Stand Up with Ghost. Because it got my attention. I didn't remember where I was when I heard it. I was like, I'm going to check this album out.
Say it with me. B-side to a dope A-side.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
You want to know what really should have been the jump off, Mike? They should have taken the Flip Mode record, the Mariah record, and they should have just made it a Busta and Digga record with Mariah, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Well, that record came like in 2002. That was 2 years later. That record didn't exist at that point.
Mike, see, this is what I'm saying. When you're saying that, we didn't know that. He could have held the record. Jay Skis just told us that Burner Phone and Symmetry are from when he first linked up with
3
Conway.
years ago.
Literally first session. So when you're saying, oh, that's 2 years ago, it's like, no, that's like when Glove's like, oh, no, the first thing that I heard Eminem do was Forgot About Dre. We don't know these things.
But we
don't. They could have held that record for Digga.
We don't know if it existed or not. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
It existed
maybe it did, maybe it didn't.
Before Digga's album is what I'm saying. So if they was really thinking about Digga, that's the move they could have made that would have changed some of that. Because essentially, that's what No Time is.
No, it existed 2 years after, because that record is 2002. And
but what I'm saying
it could have been made in 2000, but it might have been made in 2002. We don't know. That's all I'm saying. Right,
but what I'm saying is that they had the record, right? The record was in the camp because the whole damn squad on the camp, right?
I think
so hold on. The same way Tupac got them Death Row records, it's like, no, get that record to Digga and let her really get her burn. But it's like, no, Busta's not going to do that. Busta kept the record.
I think Busta, even with Imperial, I think Busta needed to kind of flex his weight around on
I
that
love Imperial.
project and felt like he had to sell her in that way. And looking back on it, I don't think that he did. Like, she's a really good song maker, even back then. Like, the way she was putting these songs together, like, they had an identity for her. And they could have stepped aside and had the Flip Mode song or whatever and just put out what's the I think the record with Young Z is a single. That Fuck Y'all Niggas song. I could see them in the streets, you know what I'm saying, with that out. This is 2000. Like, I could see that. But I feel like songs like Break Fool and even Imperial took her away from who she was, and they were trying to sound like what everything else sounded like in the climate. You know what I mean?
I don't love Imperial.
I never did. No, and I love the album, but I don't love Imperial because again, it's not her. That's more Busta. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm. Oh, okay, I'm gonna say this.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I get it when you're trying to, especially it's happened a
Look
lot.
at all I'm saying is that listen to all the Busta records that are coming out around the time that the Rod Digger's album coming out before and after, and I'm saying why wouldn't if this is a camp and this is a group and a team effort, why ain't one of those songs making its way into Digger's hands to really, like, you get what I'm saying? Because think about this, like, what Kim really had with hardcore, well, she had Big and Puff and Junior Mafia and Bad Boy behind her. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that shit mattered in that.
But see, they had a gang of records, Coop, where it's like you didn't feel like anything was lacking. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody had records, so they had a bunch of records.
Right.
I think that, the
like,
Flip Mode records weren't as bad.
Digger doesn't even have respectfully, Digger doesn't even have a Wild for the Night. Like, he gave it the Rampage.
Wild for the Night is crazy.
Wild for the Night is crazy.
I was just listening to that yesterday.
For the night. Imagine if Digger got Wild for the Night, Mike. Just imagine that.
I could see it. Because I was listening to, you remember the Flip Mode song that was on Disaster Strikes? We Could Take It Outside? She killed that.
Oh, actually, I do.
She killed that record. You know what I mean?
She kills a lot of records. But what I'm saying is why didn't certain records make their way to her ass?
She had the punchlines, man. Like, she was able to make anything work. What she say? Shit is crazy. Like, niggas turning in their handguns. like, yo, man. Like, I think of all the members, looking back on it, Flip Mode had a bunch of different voices, bunch of different flows, and a lot of different approaches. But if you're looking for that bar for bar punchline MC, it was Digger in Flip Mode.
I just love Lord Have Mercy's voice.
Oh yeah, no, they had some great voices in that group.
They did. They had some great voices in that camp. Lord Have Mercy's voices, some Lord Have Mercy.
Always and forever, whatever he said. CJ Kid with the super chat says, "Yes, Mike, go bar for bar with Eminem." Of course. I mean, he ain't got no bars. He just says blah, blah, blah. You got to actually say words, man. Our man with the super chat says, "Peace, Coop. Did you do your Drake deep dive? I need to know why Drake is better than Prodigy." I need to know why Drake is better than Prodigy. LOL.
I mean, this is no disrespect to my man P. You know what I'm saying? And P probably pound for pound at their peak is, of course, a better lyricist and storyteller and MC. But he hasn't amassed, and I'm saying this as a big Prodigy fan, he hasn't amassed the career that Drake has. Like, let's not act like Drake didn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? We don't play those, like Mike, we can't pick favorites and talk about the people who don't get notarized or appreciated and respected and then pull up and try to act like what Drake just didn't happen.
Yeah,
like,
and no,
nigga, that happened. Like, you didn't hear all those albums?
And you know who I personally
listen
to.
Look, you didn't hear everybody else. He just helped go platinum and multi-platinum and or stream what the fuck ever. Like all these, like Mike, not all these years, but for the past decade or so.
Yeah.
It's been closer to 14, 15 years worth of service when it comes to Drake now.
It's undeniable. And, at this point, if you deny it, you're just, hating kind of.
You're a hater.
I mean, I know who I'd personally rather listen to. I know who I'd personally rather listen to, but I got to try to be objective here, I'm
listening to P every time. But it's like this. I remember the last time that I was with my sister in Atlanta, and hopped in my car and Drake came on and she immediately started singing every word. And I was thinking like, damn, I don't even know all the words. This is my car. This is my record. This is my Drake record that I like. And she knew, you know what I'm saying? No, I can't.
Yeah, now, has that ever happened when the Eminem record comes on?
It's very problematic, Mike.
I was asking, or did that record ever come on?
CJ Kid. That's how you feel. The record didn't come on, Mike. When we in the A on Saturday night at 2:00 in the morning, the vibe ain't Eminem. I will tell you that. No. You're gonna get some Drake. You're gonna get some Wayne.
When is the vibe ever Eminem? Right? When is the vibe? What city? You know? What city, state, place, and time do you have to be in for the vibe to be Eminem?
I mean, but Mike, respectfully, at 2:00 in the morning in Atlanta, I'm not playing Nas or Jay either. You feel me? So it's like when you're saying that, or Scarface, or Ghostface.
Well, no. This is what I asked.
Like, oh, did Eminem come on? It's like no, but neither did Scarface, and neither did Jay, and neither did Nas, because that wasn't a motherfucking playlist for 2:00 in the morning in Atlanta. You feel me?
Let me ask you.
Nobody trying to hear no "Do It Again" at 2:00 in the morning.
What city?
Do rags at 2:30.
What
Nobody trying to be reflective at 2:30 in Atlanta.
Again, what city, state, time, wherever, or setting is it time for Eminem's music?
Very problematic that you keep asking.
Yeah. CJ Kid with the super chat says, could Dear Mama be any song off of Illmatic in the verses?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much every song. I say that respectfully.
It can be almost every song ever made. It's beating most rap songs ever made. What do you mean?
It's one of the best rap songs ever made. Jay Short with the super chat says, did Lil' Kim reach her potential musically? Or are we adjusting our expectations? It's a good question.
No, I think if you feel like she lost something from that year she was in prison, but outside of that, it's like, what do you want her to do? What do you want her to do as an artist or MC that she didn't do? She did it with Big. She did it without Big. Mm-hmm. She's got monstrous records. She's got monstrous verses. She's an iconic figure. She's the most emulated female figure in rap history. I mean, like, when you saying not realize her potential, it's like, what you want her to do? It's like, you want her to make Illmatic now, too? Y'all, wow.
Well, you know what?
Wait a minute. Kicking it with Mike D.
Is it unreasonable, though, to ask for an Illmatic, A Reasonable Doubt, paid in full from a female MC?
I'm still waiting for half of my favorite rappers to do it. You damn right. I'm waiting for half of my favorite male rappers to do it. You damn right it's unreasonable.
Okay.
Where Method Man and Jadakiss Illmatic and Reasonable Doubt at? What you talking about? It's ridiculous.
I feel you, but I mean, I don't know. You would say hard.
Mike, all respect due. Mike, you know how I feel about P. Where P Illmatic or Reasonable Doubt at? Stop that.
Okay.
Where Styles Reasonable Doubt or Illmatic at?
Okay.
Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, no, y'all ain't about to pull up on Kim and like do her like that. Like, where they shit at?
I think hardcore is probably I would rank it the highest of all female hip hop.
Mike, isn't hardcore better than anything Method Man or Jadakiss or Styles ever made?
As a solo artist, yes.
Okay then.
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay then. I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Just ask a question.
And that's an incredible feat.
Wow.
Deontay Smith for the super chat says Detroit cats are not even bumping Eminem. Yeah, I guess Detroit's not even the place to play it either, huh? Probably play Kid Rock first.
Get to the next topic. You wow. I don't even know how we got back here.
I don't know how we got here either. What was I gonna say though? Okay.
I don't know. Talk about LSU, Mike.
What is there to say, man? Like, you know, we already went the whole, you know, White House path and all that stuff. You know, congratulations to LSU. That was a great game. And what I will say, from a competitive standpoint, and I was sitting here watching that game Saturday, man, best basketball game I saw all year, most entertaining. That one and that.
The South Carolina Iowa game, you mean?
No. I'm sorry. I'm talking about. No, I watched the game Saturday. No, the LSU game was Saturday.
The LSU Iowa game?
No. Yeah, the LSU Iowa game was Saturday.
No, LSU whooped that ass.
Yeah. But and great performance by both teams and whatnot. But I just wanted to see some really great basketball, man. And I've been able to see that throughout this tournament. What I have noticed in this women's tournament was you have parity, you have real competition, you have trash talk, And that's the kind of basketball I kind of like to watch, man. And I also noticed that the referees were letting them play. The
Mhm.
NBA is really, really tough to watch with no defense and the fact that, they call ticky-tack stuff. And it made me think that, they've kind of tapped into something that the NBA has lost, like that, competitive fervor. This reminds me of the whole Magic Bird thing all the way back to college and how they carried this over to the pros. And I mean, I think if the WNBA is smart, I think they'll take on that formula and keep that thing going. But I don't know what the NBA needs to do. I know I said that the NBA lacks star power, but I think it does, yes. But I also feel like after watching this, just having that level of competitiveness and that, you remember when, even though we knew the Bulls were probably going to make it out of New York, but watching the Bulls play the Knicks was some competitive shit to watch. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing in the NBA like that. And even when Jordan went and played baseball, Indiana and New York, that was some competitive basketball to watch.
No, we didn't know. Even when Akeem won his 2 rings, we didn't know. Well, I knew he was going to beat Union.
Yeah, and I mean, I know when you look back on it as revisionist history, you're looking like, okay, the New York Knicks or whatever, they were offensively, not as fluid as some of the other teams. But that lineup with Starks, Oakley, Mason, Ewan, Jackson, they were tough, man.
I mean, okay, so people need to understand this. This is what I mean about how, like, people try to frame history and forget that it happened. First of all, who was the point guard that you just named?
I'm named Mark Jackson.
Okay.
You want to go before that?
No, because when they actually had their run, Mark Jackson was in Indiana and Derek Harper was their point guard.
Yeah.
Now, Derek Harper was averaging about 18 points a game. John Starks averaging about 18 points a game. Charles Oakley, 15 points a game. Anthony Mason, 14 points a game. Patrick Ewing, 23, 24, 25 points a game. No, they were scoring, Mike. They was putting points up. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody on the team that was starting was averaging at least 15 points damn near. So it's like when people making it seem like Derek Harper is one of the best players to never make the All-Star team, Mike. Like he's his generation's Mike Conley, except for Mike Conley actually made an All-Star team.
Derek Harper was good. Yeah.
Yeah, Derek Harper was good. Like, he was a baller. And he was tall enough and big enough to be able to, like, guard a Mike or Scotty on a pick and roll.
You've been watching a lot more of the current NBA than I have. Am I off with this notion that I feel like the level of just competitiveness is, is not at that level? Because I feel like I don't even want to take it back that far for some of our younger listeners. Like, even when you think about Boston and Miami, that was competitive stuff. Even if you want to talk about Cleveland when they beat Golden State in that 7-game series, that's competitive stuff. You know what I mean? Golden State and OKC. I just don't see that in the league now.
Well, first I want to piggyback on your LSU thing and congrats to the LSU women for the first national championship for the Tigers. But I also would like to say to those that heard Jill Biden's words, that's why Coop is independent. Because I understand that your oppressor exists on both sides. Black people, you can come onto this independent side whenever you want. You don't have to worry about any oppression over here. I can call them, I was about to use a word, I can call them mother over here because they both the same thing on either side. That's how I feel about that. As far as the NBA is concerned, Mike, I actually don't watch basketball as much as I used to, much like you. I'll tell you what I do. I watch the marquee matchups because that's usually when it's most competitive. So, like, when Philadelphia's playing Milwaukee, oh, no, I'm there. Boston playing Golden State, oh, I'm there. Now, if LA is playing Phoenix, that's LeBron, KD, oh, no, I'm there. And that's what I usually watch. I tend to watch the high-leverage players play in the high-leverage moments about the things that you said. And, I mean, ain't anybody trying to watch Minnesota and San Antonio play on the Wednesday night?
Yeah. I mean, I remember I used to watch all those games, and I felt like all of them, you could actually get something from it in some level of competitiveness and somebody stepping up or at least be able to see who's next. You know what I'm saying?
I think there is a dearth of talent, Mike, that I don't think is being discussed. Like, think about this. You had a Dallas Mavericks team that once had Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn, and Jim Jackson on it while they were all in their prime, and that team was barely a threat to get out of the first round of the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that team right now, like if Jim Jackson, Jamal Mashburn, and Jason Kidd trotted out here in their prime right now, I'm like, I would probably like make them the favorites right now. Like I'd be like, no, I'm taking those guys.
Well, what's going on with the current Dallas team?
Well, Mike, not about any personal issues, but record just speaks. And when Kyrie Irving is your point guard or handles your ball, and LeBron James or Kevin Durant are not there with him, has in 2 of the 10 greatest players, in my opinion. If he's not playing with a top 10 or top 10-ish player, for some people that feel like Durant's right outside the top 10, if he's not playing with a top 10-ish all-time talent, Mike, his teams are borderline 500 teams. And so what you're seeing is that come to fruition. And in the even worse way, I think, because, well, what they traded and to get Kyrie and what they lost in losing Jalen Brunson is that this team has no defense. And it's like, I mean, go look at Kyrie's record without LeBron and without KD, Mike. I mean, it's like a 500 winning percentage. Like 500 will have you at the 8th seed in the playoffs. So think about somebody like a Dame Lillard.
I was just going to mention him.
You know what I'm saying? Think about somebody like a Dame that literally has been carrying a Portland team to the playoffs the whole bulk of his prime, with CJ McCollum being his second best player. And then look at somebody like Kyrie, who literally needs a peak LeBron, as in literally needs like somebody who is arguably in the conversation as the greatest player ever to play at their greatest peak. For you to reach your pinnacle, you play with Kevin Durant, you can't even stay healthy or stay on the court or get out. It's just, like on some basketball shit, Mike, it's not a good look. They're like 7-13 with him and Luka. Do not tell me that this guy is a good teammate in terms of what it takes to win on a basketball court. What people keep looking at, Mike, and then I'm going to let you have it, is his skill. You got to stop looking at the skill. You got to start looking at the results, man. It's like, Does he have the best handle ever? Yes. Mike, he's actually probably one of the 10 best jump shooters ever. Yes. Mid-range game? Yes. Layup package? Like, Mike, as far as layup package, handles, driving to the basket, #1 all-time in all of those. Mike,
you know what, man? Donovan Mitchell's very impressive in how he's able to drive. I was looking at his...
Still not Kyrie.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying, like, the way he drives to the basket and finishes, man, it's very impressive.
It's very Dwayne Wade-like.
Yeah. It really is. I thought the same thing. He plays so big to be so small. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Yeah.
But, so think about this. He has the best handles ever. He has the best layup package ever. He's the best driver ever. Either hand. As far as shooting the basketball, Mike, from distance or from the free throw line, he's probably top 10 or 15 in each. And no results, because all of those things don't equate to winning. Like, I want you to think about this. The only thing Magic Johnson does better than Kyrie is pass and rebound. If you were to line up 10 things that they do as players, Kyrie would actually be better than Magic at all the things except for rebounding and passing. Everything else would go in Kyrie's favor. I'm like, who you taking?
Between who?
Magic and Kyrie.
Come on,
Thank you. But if you were to line it up, be like, well, who's the better ball handler? It's like, well, Kyrie. Who's the better shooter? Kyrie. Who's better from the free throw line? Kyrie. Who's the better driver of the basketball? Kyrie. Who has a better layup package? Kyrie.
Who's 6'9"?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, no. But if you were to start laying this shit out, it's like skill. No, I'm talking about skill. Being 6'9" isn't a skill. That's intangible. You can't. But if you're just measuring the skills out, it's like, no, he's more talented than Dame, than Steph, than Isaiah, than Iverson, than Magic, than Stockton, than Nash, than Gary Payton. And I take all of those guys over him in a heartbeat because their record says I should.
Well, see, I loved everything about this.
Their record says I should pick them.
I loved everything about this LSU and Iowa matchup because for me, it was a microcosm of everything that basketball should be. You got Jasmine Carson, you got, Angel Reese, and you also have Alexis Morrison, who really was busting Caitlin Clark's ass, and you got one team is depending on one individual. You know what I mean? This is a team game. This is a
Okay,
collective. You know what I mean? And you have people playing with grit, people coming in the clutch, people making shots, and then you got the other side depending on one person and depending on the 3-point shot too. Whereas I would say LSU really didn't depend on the 3-point shot; they were just making it and kept making it.
Hold on, let's back up off the Magic thing right quick.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, who you taking, Jason Kidd or Kyrie Irving?
I'm taking Jason Kidd, me personally.
Mike, John Stockton or Kyrie Irving?
John Stockton. As
Steph
my point
Curry
guard,
or Kyrie
yes.
Irving, Mike?
Who?
Steph Curry or Kyrie Irving?
I have to pick Steph.
Isaiah Thomas or Kyrie Irving?
I'll have to pick Isaiah.
How come when we go into all the great point guards that's somewhere in his skill range, we taking the other guy? It don't gotta be Magic. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's
we can
because
start working
it's
our
not.
way down the list, fam.
Because, like I said, this game shows you it's not about those things.
It's not.
And honestly, if it were, I hate to say this because I like Kyrie and I want Kyrie to win. I really do. And maybe some of his people watch the show. I fuck with Kyrie. They know that.
Mike,
but this is what I'm gonna say though. Like, I think if he had a different type of mentality, and as a point guard, things would have worked out in Boston. It's really tough to really define why things didn't work out in Boston. Any of those people that you named would have made that Boston situation a success with Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They just would.
Hold on. Listen to what I'm saying. Imagine if Steve Nash had that Boston team, those young guys.
No, I know.
Championship, Mike.
Yeah, I know.
Steve Nash or Kyrie?
I would have to, as a point guard, I would have to say Steve Nash.
Gary Payton or Kyrie?
I would have to say Gary Payton. Just the
That's what I'm saying. When you line him up to his comps, Mike, he don't line up. And you want to know why? Because when you start thinking about the other guy, you start thinking to yourself, no, that other guy know how to win games.
And play as a team,
matters.
And I like I said, I like Kyrie, but I think he, as a player, it seems that he's more of an individual player than a team player. I'm gonna be careful what I'm saying because I don't think that's the thought process. I think that's just the way that his game is constructed because he's so talented in those ways. From a one-on-one standpoint, you know what I mean?
Chris Paul or Kyrie, Mike?
Well, Kyrie actually has won something. So
that ain't what I asked you.
I might go Kyrie in that situation.
You would take Kyrie over Chris Paul?
I might. Chris Paul has time after time has choked.
So let me ask you something. If Chris Paul were to win a title right now and not be the man for that team, would you change your tune? Because that Kyrie ring, that's what I like to call a Scottie Pippen ring, as in you're not the man.
No.
You're the man next to the man. So it's like when you're like, Chris Paul doesn't have a ring, I'm like, Kyrie just like second greatest player of all time, having the greatest series of his career.
Well, this is what Kyrie did do in that series. He outplayed Steph Curry. He did.
One-on-one, he bust Steph ass.
Yeah,
but that's
he
what I'm saying.
outplayed Steph Curry, and that's something to be said about that.
Do you understand that only occurs because LeBron is there?
I understand that. But, I would have to see exactly what Chris Paul did in that finals in relation. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be one of those Peyton Manning with the Broncos championships.
No, he played well in the finals. He could have played better. Prime CP3 definitely would have played better in the finals.
Because for me, I think what really makes it tough for me is all those Clippers teams he had, man. They had some talent.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
When you're talking about Kyrie's primetime performances, you understand LeBron's on the court. So it's kind of like, I don't look at that the same because it's like, no, I feel like if you would have put CP3 in his prime in the same positions next to LeBron, do I think the results are different? No, I don't think the results are different.
Cool. Chris Paul had some teams. And he had a championship coach.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, he had a lot, man.
How many Hall of Fame players has Chris Paul played with, Mike? When you're saying he had teams, how many Hall of Fame players has Chris Paul played
Well,
with?
it's not just about that part, though.
I'm just asking you a question,
No,
Mike.
no,
I'd like
no,
you to
no.
answer
And I'll think about it because they had so many guys.
You have to
But
think about it, Mike. You have to think about it, Mike, because you know that he really didn't play with any surefire Hall of Famers other than himself until Durant and Booker right now. Durant and Booker are the first time he's playing with surefire Hall of Famers. The best player he played with prior to this point, I think, was Blake Griffin.
well, what I'm saying, and let me finish this thought.
I'm going to say less.
It's not just about that individual player. Those teams were deep. Those teams were deep like that Dallas Mavericks team was. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that Dallas Mavericks team had, some Hall of Famers, and many at that point were past their prime. But those Clippers teams, those teams had 2 rosters, man. You want to go down the line of what those rosters had? Those guys had
I would because
they shouldn't have been losing to who they were losing to.
I would like to go through those rosters, Mike, because what I would submit to you is that the only guys that are really point guards under 6'4", I would say, that have led their teams to championships are Steph and Isaiah. And if you literally look at those teams, well, Isaiah's under 6'4", and Steph is under 6'4", but everybody else ain't. And those teams have some real star players with some real star depth. You're totally overrating a lot of those Clippers players, Mike. Like, you really, really are. You are overrating them to the max. You were talking about guys that wouldn't even play on those championship Golden State or Detroit teams. They wouldn't even make the roster.
I think you're looking at it. I think you're looking at it because of the end result. I truly believe if those individuals you're talking about would have had some of those Clippers teams, they would have taken them far.
DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin outside of Chris Paul, Mike. I'm not exaggerating.
Okay. We'll go through the whole roster. Let me get back to the
You don't want to do that,
Super
Mike.
Chat.
You're going to look bad if you go through that Clippers roster, Mike.
They had temes, bro.
Man.
CJ Kidd with the Super...
No, Mike, the 88 Pistons had a team. The Clippers didn't have a team.
They had because they made
the 88
results.
Pistons roster is a team, Mike. Vinny the Microwave Johnson, Joe Dumars, Rick Mahorn, Mark Aguirre, Bill Edwards, John Sally, Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Thomas. That's a roster. Fucking Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, Jamal Crawford. No.
Matt Barnes, he was on the squad. Steven Jackson was on that squad.
No, they
were. You know what? Hold on. Let me go down this team. Let me go down this roster.
They were at the end of their rope. That's not a prime Steven Jackson or Matt Barnes either.
Okay. Let me go down this list. This is their 2014 roster. Matt Barnes, Reggie Bullock. They had Darren Collison, Jamal Crawford, Glenn Davis, Jared Dudley, Danny Granger, Blake Griffin, Ryan Hollis, Steven Jackson, Antoine Jamerson, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul, J.J. Redick, Turkoglu, Sasha Vujacic. They had guys, man.
Was washed, Mike.
Oh, my God.
Half those dudes was washed, and you know it, Mike. You know basketball. I don't know why you reading out those roster like.
And Doc Rivers was their coach. And that's just one squad. CJ Kidd with the Super Chat says, people are saying Memory Lane or The World Is Yours would beat out Dear Mama. Nah, it would. Nah.
Where?
How?
The next topic.
Let's see. Jay Short with the Super Chat says, I prefer 90s hoops, but it was not any more competitive. We knew the Bulls were going to beat those Knicks teams. The Knicks teams lost to Detroit, Miami, and Indiana. The 90s, too. Revisionist history.
That's not true. The Knicks were 2-0 up on the Bulls one time. That was legit.
They had them up. Jay Short also with the Super Chat says, Kyrie is a brilliant player and fun to watch, but he thinks that he's the number one. If he would accept it, he could find a lane as a great number two. But our egos.
Well, he already has a ring, too, so that's the problem with that ego is that, well, he already has a ring. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, playing the way that he plays, but it's like you're playing next to LeBron. You're playing next to, like, one of the true basketball geniuses this game has ever seen, like a Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, like Larry Bird type of genius, like with the basketball in his hand. So like that's different when you play with a guy like that.
No, definitely. Summer Jam. See the Summer Jam lineup.
Unfortunately.
All right. Well, for the people who haven't seen the Summer Jam lineup, Hot 97 has announced their Summer Jam lineup for June 4th. It's going to be at the UBS Arena. Cardi B is their headliner. Ice Spice is on the lineup. Coi Leray is on the lineup. Glorilla's on the lineup. Lola Brooks is on the lineup. French Montana, Fabio Foreign, Lil TJ, and in celebration for the 50 years of hip hop, they got the Locks. Now, I got a question.
Please ask.
And for the people that are from New York or in New York, is this what y'all ask for from Hot 97, the home of hip hop? And you know what? New York is the home of hip hop. Hot 97 calls themselves the place where hip hop lives, right? Something like that. I think that's their slogan. Let me go back to this lineup real quick. First of all, the headliner hasn't released an album in 5 years. And like I was
Cardi?
telling,
Is that Cardi?
Yeah, that's Cardi B. So,
how many albums does Cardi have?
One album.
Very problematic, ago. Mike, and I like Cardi.
And I like Cardi.
That's just problematic.
I like Cardi, but
I do. But I like her as a personality more than I like her as an artist, Mike, because I really don't know her as an artist because she only got one album.
And if we're going to put this in context, you remember when Jay-Z headlined Summer Jam in 2001, brought out Michael Jackson, did the
Michael Jackson Summer Jam?
All that stuff, yeah. So that's just like in 2001, if the headliner would have been somebody who hadn't dropped the album since 1996, and that was their only album.
It wouldn't be there.
No. What's going on with... I don't even want to say with New York hip-hop because we know the New York hip-hop is thriving. Is Summer Jam officially done? Like...
Sounds a little whack.
I mean, because what I'm noticing, too, the only person that has like a big catalog is French Montana. Everybody else is kind of like a couple singles in, not even a full album in. Like, I don't even know how many songs Ice Spice has, and I like Ice Spice.
Everybody in love with Ice Spice.
But how long can she go out there and rock on stage?
3 songs? 4 songs? I don't know. Mm-hmm.
And you know...
2 songs.
And when it comes to Glorilla and Cardi...
Say 3.
They got a song together, right? So who's going to do it? Are they both doing it? Because I would think Glorilla's probably going to have to come on Cardi's set.
What if they all just... Never mind.
I don't even know any Lola Brooks music. And Lil TJ, I'm not really too familiar with his stuff either. I know a couple of Fabio Foreign. You know what I see here too? Everybody on this lineup, from Cardi, Glorilla's from Memphis, to Fabio Foreign, to French Montana, a lot of them went outside of New York for their sound.
Well, can I tell you what happened to Summer Jam, really?
Go ahead.
Dreamville Festival. Roots Picnic. What's that Napa Valley Festival I just sent you the flyer to that I just got word to that we're trying to go to?
Yeah.
That's the place to be. Hold on, Mike. I'm gonna tell you where you need to be. You need to stop fucking around with Summer Jam. And you need to be at, there it is, Blue Note Jazz Festival in Napa Valley. Robert Glasper with De La Soul, Bilal, and Layla Hathaway.
Now look, I don't...
How does that sound, Mike?
That sounds good to me.
I'm not done, Mike. Mary J. Blige, Nas, Chance the Rapper, Ari Lennox, Corday, Parliament Funkadelic, Rakim and DJ Jazzy Jeff, Talib Kweli and Madlib, Michelle Indocello, Diggable Planets, BJ the Chicago Kid.
Well, cool. That's an older list. You know what I mean? And I get that. Now, I get the fact that, Hot 97...
It's a list of artists, Mike, from New York. A lot of these guys are from New York.
I agree with that, but clearly...
They're in Napa Valley for the summertime.
I understand what you're saying, but clearly Hot 97 is not catering to that older demographic. But they don't even have to go there. Like, I think
When they
that
pull up the
even if
Dreamville
we
shit,
talking
Mike,
about
Drake just bought
Griselda,
out.
huh?
You see the people Drake just bought out? You see the Dreamville set?
I feel you. I think hip hop's in a weird place though because somebody mentioned Rock the Bells in the chat, and yes,
Drake rather do Dreamville than Summer Jam.
Rock the Bells is kind of for the golden age, hip hop fan base. Obviously, Hot 97 is catering to that younger demographic, right?
I'm
But
gonna say
my
this
thing
again.
is, even with the younger demographic, your headliner is somebody who hasn't dropped an album in 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say this again. Drake would rather do Dreamville than Summer Jam. This is over.
Well, I mean, J. Cole's his guy. Of course he would. You know what I'm saying? And he don't really rock with New York radio like that. So of course he would. That's no surprise.
So what you're saying is that New York radio doesn't have their old heads. They don't have Drake. They don't have Wayne. They don't have Future. They don't have Thug. They don't have none of these guys. What they got?
Jay Short with the super chat says, respect to the Locks, but I think it's kind of odd to have them as the hip hop 50 artists. They could have gotten. Let me finish the super chat, Coop. Jay Short says, respect to the Locks, but I think that it's kind of odd to have them as a hip hop 50 artist. They could have gotten someone from the 80s or the golden era. Right. I was thinking that too. They're treating the Locks like they're Run DMC or something in this. It's a very odd lineup.
Mike, where is Griselda?
Where is Griselda?
Where's Jay Skis and Love and Stove and Benny and Conway?
Because I find it hard to believe
Ransom and Che and 38 and Flea. You listen to how many Armani. They could take half a Summer Jam set just by them showing up. It's like we got Griselda. It's like couple clips.
I find it hard to believe that the young people in New York aren't listening to Griselda like that. I find it hard to believe.
Ain't no way they're not listening to Griselda like that.
I find that hard to believe.
They're from New York, Mike. They know what these niggas are.
But see, the thing is, I guess this is a reflection of what they play on the radio, and for whatever reason, New York radio, and I don't even want to just say New York radio in general, but Hot 97 specifically, and you see it from this lineup, for whatever reason, they just don't want to play Griselda's records, man.
But they'll call these niggas to do freestyles. Yeah, they will.
I wouldn't do freestyles for them. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just
wouldn't give them anything.
If you're not going to play the records, then you're not just going to go out there and use me for content because I actually can spit bars. Go out there and use some of these people that you got on your lineup to do your freestyle.
But this is what I'm saying. What's crazy about it is take somebody even and not to be funny, like a B-Dot. Like B-Dot was walking into some of these Griselda sessions. That's part of why Westside kind of crossed him out when none of this stuff didn't make it. He's like, oh no, nigga, we let you in behind the scenes behind this. But it's like, where are them dudes like that at when it's time to put Griselda on a platform like this? That's why he got marked out of that picture.
No, what happens is, man, they just use the real hip hop artists and the people who got some real core fans and make some hot shit. They use them for hip hop credibility, but when it's time to actually do something to propel them somewhere, then there's nothing to be found. It's kind of like what BET used to do with the BET ciphers. Like they'll go out there and get people who can really rap and have them in their ciphers, but they're not going to play their video. You know what I mean?
You be mindful of that. I like those ciphers. The Redman, remember Redman?
No, I dig that. But see, the thing is, if you're gonna put them in the ciphers, play their music too. Don't just sit there and use them for a sideshow because you know they can really rap. You know what I mean? And that's what some of these hip hop journalists and media people have done when it comes to, the Griseldas, the Ransoms, and all that. Yeah, you'll tweet about them. Talk about them here and there, might do an interview here and there just so you can get some props from a real fan
credibility.
Base. Yeah, you using them for credibility.
Street cred.
Yeah, it's whack. I'm sorry. I got to call it what it is. It's whack.
Actually, you know what, Mike? I'm going to have to agree with you. You made some very valid points when you're saying that. That is a little whack when you're saying it.
It is. I wouldn't go.
It's hard for me to eat that.
And I ain't trying to shit on Flex or any of that, man. I wouldn't go up there and do their freestyles.
Care about Flex, Mike.
I wouldn't go up there and do their freestyles if you ain't gonna play the records. Cause Star went up there on Flex show and was like, "Yo, y'all ain't playing Griselda. Y'all out here playing Bad Bunny and all that, but y'all ain't playing Griselda." And Flex like, well, we can come up here for a freestyle. It's like, damn, a freestyle. Play their records, man. These guys don't just go out
That's
there and
funny.
freestyle. These guys actually make songs, man. They make albums. And there's
You want to
no
know what you gotta ask
reason.
Star? You should ask Star next time you talk to him about that whole Dave Chappelle thing. I've been on my Dave Chappelle shit lately. He's on the haters ball. Remember Star's reporting from the haters ball?
Oh,
remember?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you should ask him about the haters ball. That's some of the funniest shit ever. I mean, think about it. Dumb It Down has a whole podcast about it.
It's classic. But yeah, man, I mean, I just think that there's no reason that somebody like Jay Skis, who just put out a really dope album, shouldn't be on some of these lineups. You know what I mean? Or
No, and that's
Conway
fair.
being on the lineup and bringing somebody like that to a large crowd that's actually making quality music, man. Like, y'all guys got people on the lineup that got 2 songs, man. And I say that respectfully. It's just the facts.
I think that's kind of where the music is, Mike. And, it's kind of like, you got to pick your fruit. I know some people who watch us. I mean, Mike, I don't know if you noticed, some of the people that originally watched us, it's like I haven't heard from Miss Mo in a long time. Sometimes when you grow, you just kind of like lose some people, or some people don't really tap in or tune in the way that they used to, because maybe they feel like your brand is a little different, or you feel like this doesn't align to such and such. Like, a lot of people don't know that you and I have a lot of albums that we talk about behind the scenes, and it's like, well, we don't cover it because it don't fit the brand. We cover it because we don't like it that much and we don't want to shit on the artist. But it's like, they don't really know like what our motives are, the same way we don't know what their motives are for this list. So it's like, I'm going to give them like a little bit of grace just about like the behind the scenes things that we get criticized for. The people that don't know about, I'm sure they're dealing with some of those things on a much larger scale. Yeah. But like outside of that, it just looked done, because it's like people like Drake would rather be at Dreamville. And I'd rather, I mean,
so
Mike,
you think people are turning
Valley.
So you think that people are turning them down?
I'd rather go to Napa Valley and see Robert Glasper in Parliament and Nas and
Mary
and Ari Lennox.
Well, let's keep it real cool. Hot 97 is not trying to, sell tickets to you and I for Summer Jam. But what I'm asking you, you think that people were turning down the invite that Hot 97 presented out to them? You think this is all they could get?
I'm saying, Mike, if I could have a little cake bread Pinot Noir with my performance, and I'm looking at it the way the artists look at it too, Mike. That's what I'm saying is that, like, well, let's take Drake. Have you been to Raleigh before?
Yeah, I've been to Raleigh.
Okay, Drake having more fun in Raleigh than he is in New York right now. He done did the New York thing. You feel what I'm saying?
Has he done Summer Jam?
I feel like Young Money has.
Because I remember like that one year when Nicki was supposed to be headlining.
I feel like he did Summer Jam early. I feel like Young Money did Summer Jam.
Okay, well, this is the thing too. And Nicki is still putting out music, right? And she has new music out there. And the fact that they have someone who I like that hasn't put out an album in 5 years headlining and not Nicki, I think is interesting, right? I don't know if they had Lotto last year. Maybe they did. It's hard to keep up with their lineups, but this lineup right here was blaring because it's like, I think they're trying too hard to be super relevant. And I'm saying that even by saying the fact that, Cardi's the headliner.
Who are they trying to be relevant to, Mike?
I don't know. I think this
they know?
You know what this is? This might be a reflection of TikTok taking over radio play. And I think that whatever gets on the radio now is dictated by, social media and TikTok specifically and challenges. And these are the things these are the songs that are getting the most spins. And they put these people on one lineup. I could be wrong. I don't see how they're going to sell tickets to this, man. Who are they selling these tickets to?
Mike, I'm going to be in Napa Valley sipping Camus.
Well, they're not selling tickets to us. I'm not saying that. I know they're not selling tickets to the 40 and up crowd for this shit. I'm just saying, even the 25 and under crowd, I don't see.
What I'm saying to you, Mike, is that if you're not selling, listen to what I'm saying, though. I don't think you're hearing what I'm saying. demographic-wise, in terms of disposable income, hip-hop is 50 years old.
Right.
So all of these people, it's a young man's and a young woman's game in terms of setting the trends, setting the markers, and setting the barometer. Mike, in terms of disposable dollars, they are supposed to be getting people like me and you to come.
I agree.
We got more disposable dollars and more credit than the motherfuckers 20 years younger than us, that some of them don't even know what. You get what I'm saying?
No, you're right. And they missed the mark on that.
Wrong. And that's why I'm telling you, it's like, no, you want to play around with me. I'm going to be in Napa Valley sipping a little Opus One. I'm not joking.
And you know what?
Like, if you want to play my dollars like that, I'm going to show you what my dollar look like.
Well, you know what? On top of that, though, I think, especially for the New Yorker, right? I think that the Summer Jam and Hot 97 brand means way more to somebody in the 35 and up demographic than it does to somebody 35 and under anyway. So maybe y'all should be trying to sell tickets to an older demographic, because I'm pretty sure that the young people ain't listening to the radio like that.
I'm pretty certain, Mike, you get a wine package for this event. It's out in Napa Valley. Be like, we'll get you 6 bottles of such and such and such and such with your tickets. Be like, I bet you will. Be bottles waiting for you when you get to the room. It's going to be a glorious time, Mike. You're going to wear all white.
Gary Pierce with the super chat says, it's a shame we in New York radio when New York radio don't respect our culture. It's weird and sad. No Griselda, no Tribe, LL. Nas just did Madison Square Garden and is touring with the Woo. The Summer Jam lineup sucks. I'm sounding old. But you know what? And if there was a time and a year to actually try something different and rebrand and do like a throwback, it's this year. It's that Hip Hop 50. Hip Hop's turning 50. You're in New York. This is happening that summer. This is the time where y'all actually celebrate hip hop and sell tickets on it. And they're clearly not even attempting to do that.
21 at, Mike?
What's that?
They're keeping it young. Where Lil Baby and 21 in Metro at?
Yeah, you're right.
Didn't Gunna just come home, whether people like it or not?
Well, I could see why they might not try to add Gunna.
It might be a little problematic to do that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's like, no, there's other places to go. What about Roddy Ricch? What about YG?
Yeah, you're right.
What about Sauce?
Yeah, the brand is taking a hit. Sauce is actually, you talking about Sauce Walker, right? Sauce is actually on tour with Conway. Sauce is actually on tour with Conway and Jay Skees.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that, like, no, don't kick that whole, like, hip-hop is for the youth thing. It's like, no, there's plenty of other young dudes they could have went and choose from. They got big pull and big markets. It's like, think about it. This Summer Jam, why ain't Lil Baby or 21 at Summer Jam? Don't you think that's big?
I don't know who they had before, but you know what? This is what it is.
I would too.
Hip hop is for the active, and they're trying to be so current that they got people on stage that ain't even proven like that yet. You know what I'm saying? Like people who ain't even got a catalog.
That's what I mean about.
It's going to be literally children at this.
Did Metro not just release an album that has like a who's who of stars on there?
They might not be able to afford all those people. I don't know.
Very problematic.
Jake Short with the super chat says, I agree with Coop. How you performing? How is performing in this lineup going to Griselda? It may actually hurt their image. Yeah, you're right. That's like when people used to say about being on that XXL freshman cover. The freshman cover got so weird looking that real MCs didn't even want to get on the freshman cover because it would hurt their brand. 007 with the super chat says, Summer Jam went from MetLife Stadium to UBS Arena. Look at the capacity numbers for both venues. Something is off. It was once a grand stage. Now not so much. Yeah, it sounds like they might not have a budget. Well,
when you make sucker moves,
again, you have to cater to the audience. And obviously, if the numbers are down like that, they're doing something that people just don't like.
More or less.
You know what? I think they were the ones that had Saucy Santana on stage last year. Well.
Next topic.
All right. Well, Complex actually rolled out this list of hip hop media power rankings. And the image that I'm showing you is the image that they actually posted on the article. And I see Angela Yee here, Peter Rosenberg, Sway, Angie, Charlemagne, Flex, Academic, and others. I wanted to read some of, what they had to say about why they had certain people in certain places. I know
Were those like the top
Joe
10 that
Button
you
was
just
number
named
one.
off? Was that like the top 10?
No, that wasn't the top 10. That was just the image. But let me go to the top 10 itself, right?
I'd like to hear the top. How many people did they name?
They did more than 10, but at
How many
least on
people
the
did they
cover.
name?
But I have the top 10 here.
But how many people did they name though?
Hold on, I have to pull up the full article, but
Did
I
we
do
not
have
make
the
the
image
list?
of the 10. No, we didn't make the list.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna remember that shit.
Top 10 complex hip hop
Because you naming all
media
people that
power
I know
ranking.
be stealing shit from us, but they making the list. Like, okay.
That's corporate stuff. Complex hip hop media
Okay,
power
asshole
ranking
stuff.
list. Top 10. Math Hoffa was number 10. DJ Vlad's number 9. Elliot Wilson's 8. Carisha is number 7. Is it Kaya Sinnet is number 6. Nori is number 5. Gillian Wallow 4. Charlemagne's 3. Academics 2. And Joe Button's number 1. I want to see how they got to this, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I will give Joe the respect, man, because he is a pioneer in this space. Jay Short with the super chat says, are all the artists in that ticket from New York, are they still trying to shut out the West and Atlanta in 2023? They got Glorilla on there. Yeah, Glorilla's on the lineup. Coyle, right? Yeah. Everybody else is pretty much from New York, though, I think. Let's see. Hip Hop Media Power Ranking shows influence. All right, here we go. Where should I start, Coop? Okay, they got 25. 25 is Jazzy. Shout out to her, man. She's like 10 years old. 24 is Nyla Simone. Let's see. 23 is Sway. 22 is Nardwar. Shout out to Nardwar. 21 is Anthony Fantone. Anthony Fatano. Nadeska is number 20. Adam 22 is number 19. Big Boy is number 18. Jinx is number 17. Interesting. Peter Rosenberg is number 16. Let me read this one. Peter Rosenberg cares deeply about a lot of things, and sometimes it can be to his detriment. His undeniable passion for hip-hop and backpack bona fides makes his Juan EP, his life podcast interviews, refreshingly earnest and unsexually. Let's see what we as a seasoned host of Hot 97, ESPN New York, WWE, and formerly Complex, he cares deeply about broadcasting fundamentals, demonstrating an unmatched ability to talk exponentially about nearly anything in an entertaining way. However, Rosenberg also cares deeply about how others perceive him, which has led to numerous trivial feuds with rappers and peers. And despite an ongoing gigs in New York's most prominent rap station, the rap station that we just showed you a bogus lineup for, Rosenberg can sometimes still evoke the folly of a try hard still when he shares his thoughts on rap. People rightfully pay attention. Do people pay attention to Rosenberg like that? I don't know. I don't know how to gauge in this influence, but and respect to what Rosenberg has done in his career, but right now in 2023, I think people go to him more so for WWE stuff than actual music stuff. And I'm not saying that to be funny. That's just, more so telling the truth. We're in a different space right now. I don't think that. I mean, you guys saw it even with the Magic thing a couple of years ago. Him and Cypher Sounds were off pace and they were off base, and the people weren't with them. And I don't know. I can't think of the last time that the people were really. Flex is 15. Angela Yee is 14. I don't know if Angela even covers music. Okay. Ebro's 13. Shout out to Ebro. He actually covers music. Of all people on here, he actually covers music. Angie was 12.
Martinez?
Yeah, Angie Martinez is 12. I'm sorry for our younger viewers. Angie Martinez. Jason Lee, 11. I don't think he covers music either. But Math Hoffa, 10. DJ Vlad, 9. Elliot Wilson, 8. Carisha, 7. Yeah, I went through all of that. You know what? No, I want to go through this real quick. I want to see why they have Charlemagne at number 2. Oh, number 3, excuse me. Because he doesn't really cover music either. They're talking about the Birdman interview. That was eons ago. Okay, since 2010, The Breakfast Club has helped ordinary people make it through their humble work week. And the syndicated morning show shows success can mostly be attributed to one host, Charlemagne the God. For the bulk of his run, Charlemagne has shared hosting duties with DJ Envy and the recent departure of Angela Yee. But Charlemagne immediately established himself as the show's boundary-pushing wild card. Throughout his tenure, he has been the puppet master of countless viral moments. Would the Birdman interview be explosive if Charlemagne wasn't in the room? And he never missed words about his infamous Donkey of the Day segment where he unleashes incendiary comments about public figures. We would be remiss to not acknowledge that sometimes Charlemagne gets it wrong. His sometimes inappropriate commentary towards guests has gotten him into trouble. However, since becoming a mental health advocate, Charlemagne has slightly toned down his rhetoric without losing his bite or influence. Again, where's the influence when it comes to the music? I don't know, man. Jadarion with the super chat says Joe Budden podcast is hip hop media. Well, it's a good question because none of this stuff seems to really be hip hop media. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, in here late, fellas, did y'all ever take a look at the Ebro's different list category about the hip hop songs? Is it better to break them up by decades or eras than make a single list of all time? Thoughts? I want to talk about that. Because I do think that breaking it up in eras does have some of its, it has its pros and cons. And yeah, they got DJ Academic at number 2.
Ebro on the breaking it up in the era.
What's that?
I'm more with Ebro on the breaking it up in the era.
You're with it or not?
No, I'm with it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that because if let's just say hypothetically, we break up the 10 best songs of each era, then you have a list of what, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. I guess you could kind of squeeze some in from today. I don't think that would be fair. I think that maybe we can mince it up in 4 different eras. Because I don't think anything that's come out from 2020 to now is warranted to be a top 50 hip-hop song of all time. Right?
It's fair.
So, yeah, I think that, if we could do about...
Stargazing would be the...
That was 2018. I'm talking about 2020 to now.
Shoot, I think Stargaze is the only song that's come out in the last 5 years that I think would even be a contender.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, like, I mean, you do understand this. This is like, no, Children's Story was Children's Story when it came out, as in, like, you know, Fight the Power. It's not like it took us a while to gravitate towards Fight the Power or Dear Mama or Children's Story or Mine Playing Tricks on Me. It was like, oh no, we knew. Like we all knew. It was like, oh no, it's like that's it. Right there. And so that's what I'm saying is like I think Stargazing is the only record that we all agree on like that, like old head, young head, like new head, not big head. Like my daughter doesn't listen to a lot of rap. She pop in and be like, but Stargazing, no, Daddy, it's Stargazing. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with that. Right. I think that there is
That's
an era.
That's what a top 50 song is for its era, or a top 20 song for its era. It's like, no, we all like, no, that record though.
Right. There has to be a way to do it. Jay Short with the super chat says, didn't Drink Champs have the #1 interview last year? This sounds like an industry trying to credentialize and reward those pushing their agenda. It does seem like a credentializing list. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. And yes, you're right. Drink Champs did have the Kanye West interview.
Isn't Nori on the list, though?
He is on the list. He's at, what, number 5, I believe?
And Ebro's on the list, too.
I found it interesting, though. I find it very interesting that Nori's on the list, but, his co-host isn't on the list.
Hold on, Ebro is on the list.
No. Ebro's on the list. I'm talking about Nori and DJ FN.
Oh, I mean, what? But isn't Ebro there, too?
Ebro's on, like, number 13 or something. What Ebro got to do with it? I'm talking about Drink Champs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because Drink Champs is it's a collective podcast. It's not just Nori, you know what I mean? It's not like Nori spins off and does interviews by himself like Joe Budden does. And you need DJ FN there. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Mike, to be honest with you, though, Nori do be doing those interviews by himself. He be straight dominating the airtime. Respectfully speaking.
But do you think that's a good thing? I think that DJ EFN, he balances it out. I'm just tell you what I see. I think DJ EFN balances that show out because Nori goes off course. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think the show lacks balance sometimes. So
well, they're at the table getting drunk, doing interviews, so that's gonna happen.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying? But
no, totally fair.
But again, I think DJ EFN needs to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like because if he didn't, and I think that DJ Envy kind of got slighted in a similar way. But I mean, I understand the Joe Budden thing being #1. Do you like Joe Budden having? Because have you seen Joe Budden's podcast recently?
Outside of the Nori interview, no.
He has a lot of people on set now. Like I saw Melissa
I watched
Ford.
the Nori interview. The Nori interview was minimal set, it seemed like. Though.
Okay. And I like when Joe Budden used to do those pull-ups where he would just pull up on artists and, you know what I'm saying, interview them. I think Joe Budden's a great journalist, right? But I don't love the whole set with the podcast where they have like 5 people in there. I don't think he needs all that. And I like Queen's Flip individually. Shout out to him. But it's like, it's just a whole lot of people in there now. And I guess my question, though, to bring it all back, what is considered hip-hop journalism now? Or hip-hop media, per se, like they're saying? Because none of these people seem to cover any music.
Well, that is the thing that we have to understand and respect even when we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was just at the Rap Snacks event. We just did part 1. You just released part 1 of my write-up about the Rap Snacks, all in a bag of chips. Go check it out. It's on accordingtohiphop.com. Nick Love, who's most notorious for us down here in Atlanta for his work with Jeezy, spoke to how, well, this hip-hop game and culture now is not music-centered like it used to be, whether we like it or not. And so this list that you're seeing is a reflection of that, actually. It is about marketing and branding and promotion and beyond the music, because here's what's happened with the music. And people need to really pay attention. Listen to what I'm saying. It's harder for an artist now to come into a game like this and earn a living just off the music more so than it ever has been, Mike. They have literally constricted, narrowed, stuck their hands in every lane possible to siphon money out the artist. Because quite frankly, well, Whitney Houston ain't coming around no time soon and be like, yeah, we about to go down about 3-4 times in a row. You know what I'm saying? We about to have a Bodyguard soundtrack on the charts for the next 25 years.
Well, music is essentially free, so
Correct.
that's what that is, you know.
Correct.
But I mean, to that
Mike,
point though,
I'm speaking to Whitney because I'm also speaking about a certain level of talent that we're not seeing too. That's why I'm bringing up Whitney. It's like, well, yeah, the music ain't there and the sales ain't there, but there ain't no Whitney running around either.
well,
You know what I'm
is
saying?
this Hot Nine? Is this Hot Nine
she injected,
7?
like the game was dead in a lot of ways for black artists, black female artists, in terms of their marketing, their promotional budget until Whitney came along. That's why I'm bringing Whitney up. It's like, no, she was the type of talent that made the entire industry look at the black female talent differently, because it's like, well, what if we can find another Whitney? That's what Mariah is.
Well, what I was gonna ask is, I mean, for that same notion, that same concept you were just saying, is that Hot 97 Summer Jam lineup a reflection of that?
Yeah, it's a reflection of. I'm saying this respectfully. It's a reflection of the talent not being the same, but it's also a reflection of the business being different. You know what I'm saying?
Do upcoming artists want to be great artists, or do they want to be great personalities? Is that what the focus is?
I don't think that the focus is for them to be great musically, and so I think it is literally one of those things that would have to be a personal ethos of theirs to want to make great music. I'll give you an example of somebody like Hit Boy Mike has made a personal ethos about choosing the music and the quality of music over trying to maybe brand himself. And his reality is also is that, well, part of his branding is from his biggest record, and he's not going to get maybe as notarized as he should for this quality album, executive production that he's doing as a producer, until he makes another banger. It don't got to be Niggas in Paris, but until he makes another, like, you know what I'm saying? Until he makes another song that, like, everybody's singing, you know, he's going to suffer some of that fate too, unfortunately. It's the way the game goes right now. It has nothing to do with him. He's actually fortunate because he has, like, well, he has Nas projects under his belt. He has Niggas in Paris under his belt. Guys walking around with his ethos that don't have that, they are fucked, Mike.
B Dean with the super chat says, according to hip hop, B-High, ATL, and Sway are probably the only ones who cover music. The rest of them just cover gossip. No disrespect. I mean, I don't think that's any disrespect. That's on their. I mean, they know what they do. You know what I'm saying? And I guess my question here is hip hop gone to a place where the media in hip hop is more about gossip than anything else?
Absolutely.
And the music is no longer a factor. The music kind of seems to be, at least from the list that I see here, for many of them, and not saying all of them, many of them, music is just a backdrop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have somebody on your show because they are a person that makes music, but none of the interview is about any music. No, you're not talking about the album. You're not delving into the album. It's gossip. I mean, they literally have gossip segments on The Breakfast Club. It is what it is. I'm kind of confused, though, why, like, and Ebro's on the list, right? Ebro in the morning, and that's really Rosenberg's biggest platform. I know Rosenberg has the After Dark thing. I think he still does that. But
late night.
The late night with Rosenberg thing. It's hard for me to think that somebody like the Art of Dialogue or even Beehive is not on the list, and Rosenberg's on there for, you know, the late night thing that I can't even remember the last artist that launched.
So part of why some of this stuff is corny to some people, and it's not for me. I'm speaking about what people tell me when, you know, they talk to me and then they talk about why they love according to hip hop to me. Be like, oh, I'll fuck with you and Mike D. Coop because woo, 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 woo. Well, one of the things is that when you have relationships outside of the music with people because of the music, and you live in a gossip-driven time, what happens is that these guys are getting into discourse. but it's somebody that they know. And so although that the stories are great, what you find is these discourses that are tangents away from the music and from the fabric of the music because of the relationship. And listen to what I'm saying. It feeds right into the algorithm right now for the gossip. And so everybody's all for it.
Right.
And so when Nori is like, quite frankly, sharing a story with the artist, it's like, oh, no. Oh, you smashed old girl too. She lived in such and such and such apartment. Oh, yeah, that's her. Yeah, I used to be up at, you get what I'm saying? It's like, well, this chick ain't got nothing to do with music. You know what I'm saying? But because you have a relationship with the artist and it's a story and we live in a gossipy time, you get how that story now is something that they chop up and cut and clip, and it's a big thing when it's like, they're not even talking about music. It's just like, Nori actually know this guy hood, this guy know his hood. Same, you get what I'm saying? It's like it becomes one of those things, and that's fine. And that's fine when you're interviewing somebody, but it's like, I don't know if you noticed this, Mike. When I connect with somebody that I interview, I usually try to pivot to something that I don't connect to them with to keep the integrity of the interview intact so it doesn't get too personal or segue too far off into somewhere where the integral media part of it that makes the media, like at some point you have to decide, it's like, am I a member of a media or is this motherfucker my friend? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I tell you what, it's like, oh no, I love talking to Skis and Love and David Kim and Hit Boy, but it's like, oh no, I asked Hit Boy about this Slim Shady record. You know what I'm saying? I asked Skis, like, how you know Conway? I asked Love, what you doing down in Atlanta? I asked David Kim, how your family end up migrating here? It's like, no, they make music questions, but they're artist-driven questions to help create a scope of you. I'm not gossiping.
Well, you're telling a story and you're developing a story and allowing them the opportunity to tell their story. A lot of the stuff that gets clickbait and, that goes viral and all of that is based on some gossip stuff. And I'm glad that we came up in a time where you had the Ed Gordons that were out here interviewing Tupac, and they weren't sitting down here, talking about some nonsense. They talked about things that impacted generations after. You and I just got through talking about how Kendrick was able to string together his best album, in my opinion, through a Tupac interview. Now, that would have never been possible if whoever was interviewing Tupac, the subject at that time, on some gossip shit. It just wouldn't have. And
like,
honestly,
I heard you shot
man,
2 police officers. Tell me what happened when you shot them.
Right. And after seeing this list, I understand why Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole don't do interviews. Because these are the people that they expect them to do interviews with. And based on, and I'm not talking about everybody on the list, but mostly the people on this list, they're going to be asking them stuff that has nothing to do with music. And I understand why they wouldn't even want to be involved with that if they don't have to. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, Talib's podcast called Party People is much better than Joe Budden. Talib does research, legwork, asks thought-provoking questions, etc. Bet he's left off the list since he's Luminary now. Talib does do a good job with his
he's probably left off the list because he's problematic, not because he's on Luminary.
Well, at the end of the day, there's some other problematic people on the list too. So, they continue to overlook Talib's podcast, unfortunately. I don't know if that's because of who he's with or who he is or whatever, but...
Well, no, Mike, we have to be consistent and be fair. The same way we were talking about the album, and it's like, well, how can we give it album of the year when everybody else don't have access to it? It's like, is he doing a better podcast than Joe is right now?
No, his podcast is on YouTube.
I haven't been keeping...
No, Party People's on YouTube. It's not on Luminary.
Okay. I haven't been keeping up with either really like that. But if you told me that, I wouldn't be surprised. But this is what I'm saying. Well, Joe is kind of like an icon in this game at this point.
He started the movement.
And he's kind of like a godfather, right?
Yeah.
He kind of veto up in this situation.
I don't even count Joe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Joe deserves to be
like,
number
when they
one.
put him at number one, I was like, well, duh, motherfucker. Like, thanks for that one. Like we didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's how I mean, like, the list is even politics, even with putting him at number one. It's like, oh, he's at number one. It's like, oh, what a surprise. He don't got to do nothing.
I don't really have a problem.
He kind of already earned that slot. So it's like, no, I get it. But it's like, at the same time, too, it's like, what are they making of this list?
You know what? I don't have a problem with Academic being number two, because whenever Academic has to do interviews, he does a good job. He does. He knows what he's here for. He gets the numbers up and all of that. But have you seen his show on Spotify? Coop, you there?
No, I'm right here.
Yeah, his show's good. He does a good job with interviews.
You tell me that it's good. I have not watched it.
Yeah, I got to give credit where credit's due.
I mean, no. I dig it. Like, if the information is there, like, this is how I look at stuff. It's like,
now, he doesn't come to his subjects on some gossip stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and that might be surprising, knowing, you know, what his platform is about. But yeah, when he's sitting down with somebody, it's not some, you know.
I know that you watch him, and so I kind of don't, because I know that you do. Because I feel like that if he does something pertinent, I'll probably hear it from you. And what I would submit to you is that, think about how many times you've come to me in the past year and bought something pertinent about his podcast to me. I will tell you those times haven't been many. So it's like, and that's what I mean. I'm funny like that, Mike. It's not like I have anything against him. It's like, well, I know you watch him and you don't pull up on me too often about his podcast. That definitely ain't about to get me to watch his shit.
Well, I really don't have the time to sit around and watch everybody's podcast like that. So I only have watched him like whenever he has like bigger guests or something like that. And the few times that I have watched him, he's done a good job. So that's all I'm saying.
No, I will tell you this. You're right. As far as like his actual interview process and asking real questions, I think that he does a great job from what I've seen. But what I mostly see is in outtakes. And sometimes I question the motivation behind those questions. It's like you say it's not gossip, but it is to garner a certain sort of level of attention with some of the line of questioning.
It's true.
Like, he ain't no Ed Bradley with the questions. He's not like framing a picture. He's definitely trying to get his guests to say something or to comment on something that is going to be sensationalized, put into a clip, and blast out to mass media.
How often have you seen...
And not to say that's not a respectable type of journalism, but that is a style of journalism, and it's like, that ain't really like my thing.
Well, how often have you seen... I mean, because DJ Academic is who he is. He's huge, right? How many times have you seen, one of his sensationalized clips going viral? You don't see that a lot from his interview show. I'm sure he could do that a lot more if he, if he was trying to do that.
See, that's what I'm saying. I couldn't tell you because I'm not in the loop, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't follow him. I don't watch him. So it's like, I really don't know.
But, I mean, you follow hip-hop. So if it was, something that was constantly
I don't know, Mike. He trends a lot. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. When you saying that, it's like I see his name flashing across a lot. I just don't ever read it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So if you want to talk about it, it's like, how often does he flash? No, he flashes more than anybody else on this list.
I don't feel like he, when it comes to serious interviews, he chases the clout in that way. I think he does. Okay. He does that in other ways. You know what I mean?
You're saying that, it's like, did he always operate that way, or did he start operating that way when he started getting all those big interviews? And also, how often does he do those big interviews now that you're speaking of?
Well, again, like I said, I can just speak for the ones that I've seen. I haven't kept up with every single podcast episode. Maybe the people in here can let us know a little bit of that. Jay Short, the super chat, says, was Vlad on the list? If not, I know for sure this is an industry list because Vlad doesn't have a lot of current artists on his platform. Yeah, Vlad was like number... Let me go back. I think Vlad was number...
I mean, we know
Vlad was number 9.
I'm not trying to put act in like the Vlad category, but every time I see act stuff, it's with somebody big, and it's like something that he's asking them that's usually not like music related. So that's why it's like, well, I don't know how to take it because I'm not like a follower or a watcher. Like I'm not Not like that, Mike. I'm just like not a fan of his pod, like in like his interviews like that. Like, you know
But
what I
you
mean?
say
Like,
you hadn't watched it. I think you're just not a fan of him and what his brand represents.
no, I mean it's just like I get it, Mike. When you're like he's good at getting information out of people, I'm like, okay, if like you feel that way, that's fine. I just got like he's cool. Like I haven't like like Joe has a perspective when he's talking that I like to hear from a line of questioning on a journalistic level. Like the questions that I see academics ask, it's like, well, I can, that's like in the handbook. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really digging deeper or telling me nothing new. I'd watch Drink Champs just for the sidebar stories that are going to tell me more. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough for me to get through Drink Champs, and I say that respectfully. It's normally all over the place, and then when it does get serious, Nori finds a way to jump in and say something off topic or try to be funny.
No,
and then, I couldn't even watch Wu-Tang on there, and I love Wu-Tang. It just seemed like it was a bunch of people talking at one time.
I mean, Mike, I just have to tell you the truth. I'll be in my zone, and I'll be in this according to hip-hop zone. I don't watch none of these guys like that. Like, truthfully.
Okay.
Like, I don't. Like, and when I do, I don't be feeling them like that. It just is what it is. It ain't nothing personal. Like, I like a lot of these guys personally more than I like their shows, to be honest with you. I respect their hustle and their grind and what they've built and how they've transitioned and how they've provided jobs for others and how they've connected media and how they've taken control of the media. Like, I respect the overall vision more than I actually enjoy the product, is what I'm saying. Like, that's just the businessman in me. It's like, no. I respect the building of the product and the brand and the man more than I like to pull up and listen to a lot of these guys. And it's not nothing personal. I just, quite frankly, happen to think that, I do the shit better. So why would I listen to you?
I mean, I could think that and still, listen to what other people are doing.
I mean that shit from the bottom of my heart. Like, it's like, no, I feel like I'm better at it. Why would I listen to you doing something you don't do as good as me?
Because there's always something to, be able to take from, other things that are going on.
If you think Michael Jordan was watching footage of Charles Barkley play
Michael Jordan did watch footage of other people playing. That's why
No, Mike. If he was playing against them in the finals, but not like on no day to day. Like he went. How about this, Mike? There was the 1990 season. Magic Johnson won MVP. Charles Barkley came in second. Michael Jordan came in third. I'm telling you, Mike wasn't sitting up there watching like footage of Charles and Charles and Magic after the game. Like, it don't work that way.
I'm sure, like I said, there are parts of people's
and you see Charles when he play and dap him up. They probably go out and party together, pull some bitches. Like,
but there are parts of people's game.
We out here playing, nigga. I'm trying to. No.
There are parts of people's game that are better than other parts of other people's game, and I think that the only way that you're able to know those things is kind of know the landscape.
No,
I think that Ebro does a great job.
Michael Jordan ain't sitting up here in 1990 when Magic's winning MVP and Barkley's coming in second, coming in third. He's not sitting up at night watching tape on Magic and Barkley unless they got a game the next day. That's what I'm saying.
We should ask Michael.
Watch who's in front of you when you compete. You watch who's in front of you when you compete. And what I'm saying is that, like, I don't spend time watching like Joe Budden or academics or Vlad because it's like, no, I'm thinking about the next interview for According to Hip Hop. I'm trying to get skis. I'm seeing what next event we need to be at. That's what I'm saying. It's like, no, I respect what everybody's doing, but it's like I'm kind of running right now too. So I really don't know what you're doing like that. I only know what I see when something big comes across my feed because I'm not checking for you like that right now because we out here balling, Mike. It's the season. You feel me?
I feel that. I mean, but again, I think
right now it's like when I play, Mike, I play to win. And I know I ain't never seen nobody play to win and sitting up there watching somebody else's stat line go up. That ain't how you win.
Well, that's like you saying. That's like you saying because you play ball, you can't watch a basketball game, or because you make music, you can't go listen to music. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still entertained by other podcasts. I'm not looking at the podcast for to dissect it. I'm listening to it, as an entertainment medium. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. See, that's what I'm saying, Mike. If I'm watching them trying to figure out what we need to do to win. Like, I ain't watching them, like, on no sort of entertainment value whatsoever. It's like, oh, how did they do that? Be like, oh, I don't like that. That don't work. We can't do that. I'll be watching them to see what they do wrong, to be honest with you. Like, I'm competitive like that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't watch them to be entertained by them anymore. I'm officially doing the same thing that they're doing. I'm not trying to be entertained by you. I'm trying to beat you, like all of you. like bad.
Being Dean with the super chat says the artist's personalities is bigger than the music. I think it's designed for that right now. I mean, everybody's out here selling merch and trying to, push their brand per se, as opposed to the music. Jay Short with the super chat says, I think the industry/media is following the ESPN strategy. Sometimes talking about the game or the players is more lucrative than the game itself. Definitely see that.
See, this is what I mean. So somebody just asked me, Coop, did you listen to other rappers you rap? Yes, I did. And when somebody hit a certain level, it made me tap back in. Mike, part of the reason why I'm partial to Hell Hath No Fury is because I was still active then. That's the last rap album that I heard. I can remember being with Holla in the car on Delk Road heading to the studio, and I was playing the shit for him, and he was looking at me, and I was like, we got to step our fucking game up. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Hell Hath No Fury was for me. It wasn't even about the talk. It's like, do you hear how these dudes are rapping? Do you hear their flows? Do you hear their cadences? Do you hear their bar and stanza structure? As an MC that was on the verge of making it, I took that personally, competitively. So it's like if you're talking about listening to it on that level, yeah, but it had to hit me on a certain level for me to invest into it like that. So when I'm telling you that I'm not really listening like that, what do you think I'm really trying to say in a nice way?
Well, it sounds like you're just saying that you're not even trying to listen to him anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm saying, no. I'm saying like Hell Hath No Fury gave me plenty of reason as an MC to be afraid, to worry, to listen over and over again, and to go back in. And if I'm not listening to these guys all the time, it's because I'm not worried.
Well, it's not about being worried. You know what I mean?
And in terms of no, not worried. Like I'm saying, like in the space that we're existing in. And you're right, Mike. It's not about being worried. But it's also not about studying these other dudes and giving them props while we're out here trying to get ours. I don't know no hustler that hustler that way. That's what I'm saying.
It's not about studying them either. You know what I'm saying? It's about, just giving credit where credit's due. If people do a good job,
all those guys are great. Next.
Yeah, if somebody does a good job of something, they do something good. I mean, like I said, just how we give it to musicians and stuff too. I said I can't really listen to Drink Champs like that. You know what I mean? Because it's just, it be all over the place. I don't really love the format. And respect to them, and it's nothing personal. It's just my taste. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying, Mike. Listen to what I'm saying. Have you heard any of these people shout out according to hip hop?
No.
Okay, then. Why are we talking about them? That's what I'm saying. That's how this really works. It's
we're talking about the list. We normally don't, just shout them out in our regular show.
I gave them their props. It's like, no. I respect everybody on this list and what they're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, but I'm not going to go out here and just, go through the list and just, be disingenuous if somebody's doing good. Like Joe Budden is a legend in this game. He carved the path.
I don't know what these dudes are doing. I just know what I see. You know
Blue Collar Hustler with the super chat says, it bothers me when people say Nas never had a team around him. Nas has been brilliant at picking people who represent his interests. Search, Steve Stout, and Anthony, how does he say his last name? Salah, have all helped him ascend. I agree. I think Nas has done some incredible stuff over the course of his career. I think that the fact that, unfortunately, people just compare it to, the other individual and their success rate and what they've done, and they try to make it seem like, Nas hasn't done what he's done. Both incredible careers. Congratulations to them both.
Mike, I'm highly competitive. I don't apologize.
Me too.
For who I am.
Too.
You know what I'm saying?
Me too. I am.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, that's great for these guys. It's like, are we on the list? It's like, oh, Mike, I'll tell you off the camera what I think.
I mean, honestly, people, this is what I'm getting to and even reading this list. I don't think that the hip hop fans are really listening to these individuals in this manner. I don't think they're as influential as Complex is trying to make them up to be. I agree with Jay Short. I think this is their attempt to actually credentialize some of these individuals. Folks don't listen to them like that. When you and I were doing our regular shows, more people tune into what we're doing than Rosenberg and Cipher Sounds and Juan Epstein joint. I mean, you can't be that influential. Even with B Dot, like when B Dot was talking about what was that thing that he got into, the little back and forth. I forgot what it was, but he was gonna clear it up on his live. I went on his live. It was like 30 people in there. You know what I mean? Like, and again, no disrespect. It is what it is. But I think that these type of lists are clearly corporate lists that overshoot who these individuals really are in the culture, and they're trying to credentialize them to the people who don't listen to them anyway. But I will also give credit to people who do a good job. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think, how about this? I think to reach to a point of making this list, at some point you had to have been doing some sort of phenomenal, incredible, and accredited job and tapped into something about this culture that made people gravitate and feel galvanized by your words and by your message. And that's why I'm saying that it's like, no, I don't want to discount any of them. It's just like, I'm not the one to really be speaking on their place because I don't listen to them. And the main reason I don't listen to them is because, well, I feel like we should be on the list.
Well, I think one of the things that really separates us from a lot of the people that are on this list is the fact that people tune into us to hear us talk to each other. We don't really need a guest to actually have a successful show.
We don't need clout. Got that.
Whereas all of these other entities, from Vlad to, I mean, what is Vlad without a guest? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to sit there and listen to Vlad talk hip hop for 2 hours.
What is he with one?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so don't get me started.
But you know what I mean? Like, no one's going to sit there and listen to Vlad talk hip hop by himself or with, one of the other people that, is on his staff for 2 hours. You're just not. And so my thing is, how special and influential are the people on this list if they need a guest, a big time guest at that, to actually garner an audience? Now, I'll give it to Joe Budden. Joe Budden will sit there and talk by himself and people will listen. He don't need a guest.
He don't.
He doesn't. You know what I mean? He's proven. You know what I mean? So I'll give him that. But the rest of the guys need guests. I mean, and Respect to Nori and DJ EFN, they need guests on Drink Champs for people to watch. They're not going to go out there and review an album. Yeah, they're not. Mm-hmm. Drinking and shit, and I say that respectfully. I know it's going to come off as whatever, but I think that what we're doing is very different. And I think we are ahead of the pack because a lot of the stuff that we do and how engaging that we are with the people is something that, these people with these platforms will not do. They're not going to talk to y'all like we do. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to sit here and let people have a voice. They're going to try to control the narrative. Gary Pierce with the Super Chat says, I respect anyone eating, but I check for according to hip hop more than all those other cats. Mike and Cooper, the champs, not even close. Appreciate the love, man. We appreciate y'all being in here, man, because y'all guide the conversations. Like I said, nobody else is out here talking to the people in that way. Man, what else were we covering today? Because it was kind of light today, I feel like. It said AK don't need no guests. I'm with you on that. I will give you that. What else are we covering today, Coop?
MC list.
MCs out there. Better stand clear. Leroy Green with the love saying A2HH is number one. Yeah, man, when we move to this, well, we'll let y'all know. We got a whole lot of tricks up our sleeves. Everybody else is going to have to catch up. Do you have a top 3 albums this year so far? Because music is slow this year, and it's kind of like why we're in this. I don't want to say pickle, but you know what I mean. It's like
no, there's music, and I think we learned this too through the process of doing this show for a few years. Like Mike, and I don't think people understand this. We have burnt ourselves out picking up every piece of material you all tell us to pick up. And Mike and I just have to come to a consensus about some records that need to be mentioned. Like, notice we didn't bring up Jay Skeez's album on Friday when it actually dropped because we hadn't heard it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know what we were in store for. Upon hearing it, because I told Seth the word, I'm like, oh my, and we heard it. We were like, oh no, it's like, we got to talk about this. And that's what we're kind of becoming and what it needs to be, because I think what people need to understand about us as a culture piece is that we're a culture piece that's trying to be uplifting, encouraging, productive, as in we don't want to come up here and trash an album and give it a 2 out of 5. If we think it's like a 2 or a 3 out of 5, unless the artist is just too big to ignore, we're probably not covering the project. We have covered so many projects, Mike, in the last 2 years, like literally hours of our time, that quite frankly, the core of our audience even doesn't listen to. And there might be some isolated, like hardcore heads in here that's like, oh, Coop, y'all got to recover this. Y'all got to cover this. It's like, you have to understand, it's like, According to Hip Hop has over 1 million followers to serve and about 30 to 100 people wanting us to serve like a certain album and give it a, like, you know, hours upon hours of listen and then actual time to write and rate it. It's like, I mean, Mike, I think people know this about me by now. When I'm rating something, I don't listen to it one time. I don't listen to it 2 times. I usually listen to it at least 3 times. So it's at least 3 hours right there. Then it's the time that it actually takes to actually write the notes on the review. So that's another 2-3 hours. Yeah. So it's like, y'all are asking me to take 6 hours at least to review a project that's not even that good in the minds of not just me and Mike, but most of the people who follow us. And that's just not fair. Like,
oh, real quick.
Like, we don't have a staff full of people. Like, this ain't the source in 1995 where we can rate all 17 albums that came out in the month of March.
And we're going to get to that, though. We're going to get to
Mike,
that.
But right now, no, what people need to understand right now, though, Mike, is that it's me and you, and we have been personally just giving y'all ratings just for years now. Do you know how much time we have sacrificed with our daughters, with significant others, with parents to listen to rap albums because you told us to? It's like at some point, we actually have to be the voice, and it's like, well, we kind of said we covering this, and this is what you should listen to.
I didn't know that the Currency and Jermaine Dupri album dropped. It dropped yesterday, actually.
I didn't know, Mike.
Why did they drop it? Why did they drop it on a Tuesday on some old school shit?
Because shit used to drop on Tuesday. Yeah. They on some old school shit. We'll talk about it Friday.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, I mean, I wish I would have known it dropped. 36 Chambers with the Super Chat says, what happened to y'all's 50 song list? We'll have it done next week. Next week's show we'll have 50 songs.
Like, we can't even get an MC or a song list done, but you want...
So like, I guess we got to go to the MC list then. So since people want us to get things completed.
Done. Like, oh my God.
Okay. Who do we have up?
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock, Mike. We got an hour.
Okay.
We should be able to get this done.
Yeah, we're going to spend some time on this now. Let's do this.
And guys and ladies, feel free. Chime in with people that we need to put in the mix or people we need to move off the list. Now, Mike, before we get started, first of all, the damn list. So, where is the list at? It's so long since we did it. I got to go into my notes and see. There we go.
Okay.
Last time we touched this list was March 24th, I believe. So right now, I'm just going to read the list out, Mike. Start at number 1 and move down to 38, where we currently are. Nas, Jay-Z, Rakim, Tupac, Biggie. Is there anybody in that top 5 you want to put back through again?
Say that again?
Nas, Jay-Z, Rakim, Tupac, Biggie. 1, 2, 3,
Let's put Biggie through.
Huh?
Let's put Biggie through. He got 2 albums.
You want to put Biggie through?
Yeah, he got 2 albums.
I know. Man,
I'm just saying.
Biggie Smalls is the illest. Okay, Mike. Where do you want to put him in at? Because do you think, hold on, Freddie, Game, Guru, do you want to put him up against those guys?
We're not going to go that far back.
Eminem?
We'll start at Eminem.
Eminem's at 35. Okay, Mike. Impact.
It's big.
Live performance. I'll give that to him.
Okay.
Lyrics.
That's big to me.
Storytelling.
Big.
Classic albums.
Big.
Classic songs.
Big.
Longevity of albums.
That's big.
This is over.
Okay.
Rick Ross. Impact.
That's big.
Live
Even Rick
performance.
Ross is impacted by him.
Right, Mike. Right. Live performance.
I think that's big.
Lyrics.
That's big.
Storytelling.
Big.
Classic albums.
That's big.
Classic songs.
Big. That's
All right,
over.
Mike. You
Yeah.
see, understand that Biggie Smalls is like right.
Yeah.
It's like. Oh, you want to put Big through with 2 albums? It's like, man, stop that.
I
Big
just
Mike-
want people
how
to
about
see this.
Mike, do not be surprised if he ends up going up higher on the list and he's at 5.
I want people to see this. I think it needs to be tested.
Right. J. Cole, Mike. Impact.
Big.
Live performance.
That might be J. Cole.
That's cool, Mike. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Lyrics.
That's big to me.
Storytelling.
Big.
Classic albums.
Big.
Classic songs.
Big.
Longevity of albums.
That's big.
This is over.
Okay.
Right.
Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, Liberation 2 is the album of the first quarter. We got to talk about that album, man. We got
What,
to
the Talib album?
Yeah, but because
Is it
it's on
available?
Luminary exclusively, it might end up being the best of 2023 album that no one has heard. Now, I have a link to it, Coop. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this online, but yeah.
That's fine, Mike.
I'll
If
send
wanna
it to you.
This album, Mike, that's fine. I'm not giving no album that the people don't have access to album of the year because that's never happened before.
Man, where do we have Talib on this list? Because he has a
We haven't gotten
catalog.
to Talib yet.
Okay.
Right now, J. Cole, Pusha T,
Okay.
Impact,
Big.
live performance,
That's big.
lyrics,
Big.
storytelling,
Big.
classic albums,
That's big.
classic songs.
That's big.
This is over.
That's over.
It's
Jay
like
Short.
you're trying to tell people, like why people talking about Big like Big was regular. It's like people like he only got 2 albums. It's like, man, them 2 albums is better than everything your favorite rapper ever made, man. Like, stop that.
Jay Short with the super chat says, I like your reviews, but for me, A2HH is about setting the record straight with people not letting outsiders write the history of hip hop, or the hip hop story, excuse me. I agree. I think we've kind of gone into some of those lanes. Who we got next?
Don't matter who we got next. They way too low on this list. All right, they about to catch a body too, Mike. Big Boy, Impact,
Big.
live performance,
And when I say big, I mean Biggie.
Biggie.
Big.
Live performance. I might get Big Boy live performance.
Okay. All right.
Lyrics,
That's big.
storytelling,
Big.
classic albums,
Big.
longevity of albums.
Collectively, I could go Big Boy.
I would say Big Boy.
Yeah.
Longevity of songs, Mike.
I think that's Biggie.
All right, that's over too, Mike. Redman, Impact,
Big.
live performance,
Big. Oh, no, that's Redman. I'm tripping.
Redman, lyrics,
Rockin' Redman and Naughty. That's Biggie. Not by a lot, though. Not by a lot,
but it's big.
Yeah, that's
Not
big,
by a lot,
but not
but
by a
big.
lot. Because I'm
Storytelling.
thinking of like kicking the door. I'm thinking about who shot you. It's like,
Right.
yeah,
Storytelling,
that's Biggie.
classic albums.
It might be Redman.
It's not, Mike. Redman doesn't have one album close to Ready to Die.
But
or
he
Life
got
After
3
Death.
classics.
Muddy Waters.
though.
Muddy Waters is not close to those albums. I'm
But
sorry.
he got 3 classics to Big's 2.
Mike, Ready to Die and Life After Death are arguable top 10 album
Yeah,
picks. Muddy
they're better
Waters
than all of
wouldn't make-
Redman's albums. I mean,
Huh?
I said they're better than all of Redman's albums.
Yes, Muddy Waters is the closest thing he has.
Yeah.
So we can give it a tie if you want to give like Redman's body of work because he has 3 classics and like 2 possibles.
They said we should have started Biggie at 10. Okay, what's the rest of the list look like? We need to skip Biggie up. He's blowing people out.
I mean, I could have tell you it was going to blow people out. How about this? I'm going to tell you, how about this? You want to do, we're going to highlight some people. How about this? We're going to go to Kendrick at 27.
Okay, let's go to Kendrick.
Impact.
Biggie.
Live performance.
Kendrick.
That's cool. Lyrics.
Lyrics might be Kendrick.
I was going to tie that, actually, Mike.
Huh.
Storytelling.
That's Biggie.
Damn right it is. Classic albums, Mike.
That's Kendrick.
Fair enough. Classic songs.
That's Biggie.
In a landslide. Longevity of albums.
That's Biggie.
Longevity of songs, Mike.
That's Biggie as well, I believe.
Classic collaborations.
Well, that's not even a...
He's done. Kendrick went further than anybody else, but he's still taking this L, Mike. Right.
Man, this nigga looking like Mike Tyson on Mike Tyson Punch-Out right now.
You want to go to Wayne at 25? Or you want to keep going further up?
Let's go to Wayne at 25, because the Wayne fans would hate us for not doing that. Impact might be Wayne.
Impact is Wayne?
I think so. He's impacted a whole generation.
Live performance, Wayne?
Yeah.
Lyrics, Big?
Yeah.
Storytelling, Big?
Yep.
Classic albums, Big?
Mm-hmm.
Classic songs, Big. Longevity of albums, Big.
Yeah.
Longevity of songs.
That's big. Yo, when you
play
play You Can't Stop the Rain on our Patreon, I'm like, man, this nigga was...
You hear when I dropped that shit, Mike? It was just like, this nigga crazy.
This nigga's crazy with it, man.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean. It's like, no, when you hear that guy rap, it's like, no, I don't want to hear that nigga walking into the room while I'm in my prime, Mike. It's like, no. It's
now
like,
him,
oh, hell no.
Now that thing you said about Eminem earlier, or whatever. Now him, no, that's different. No, that's different.
Okay,
now,
Mike.
Now, if you walk in the room, yeah, that's different.
We got a heavy part right here. So check this out.
Okay.
Prodigy's at 23, Drake's at 22, DMX is at 21, Kane is at 20, Kiss is at 19, Slick Rick at 18, Black Thought at 17. Let's see.
Let's start with Drake.
Okay. Impact.
That's shit. I think that's big.
Me too. Live performance.
I think that's big.
Lyrics.
Big.
Storytelling.
Big.
Classic albums.
Big.
Next, Mike.
All
DMX.
right.
You want to do DMX,
Let's
Mike?
do DMX.
Impact. Big.
Mm-hmm.
Live performance. X. Lyrics. Big.
Yeah.
Storytelling. Big.
Yeah.
Classic albums. Big.
Yeah.
Classic songs. Big.
Yeah.
No, Mike. No.
Yeah, it's over. Jay, show over the super.
You don't want no smoke with this man. You don't want no smoke with this man. I'm trying to tell you.
Jay Show with the super chat says, respectfully, I think Ice Cube gets rated too low on a lot of these lists. Maybe because his best album, Death Certificate, was a complete body of work, but no all-time classic hip-hop songs. I think that's a fair assessment. I think if A Good Day was on Death Certificate, it'd probably be viewed a lot differently.
I think that's a very accurate and astute assessment. Yep. Mike, nothing against Kane or Kiss. I just don't feel like they're going to beat Big. I think we should go to Slick Rick at 18.
I don't think he's going to beat Big either, but let's do it.
Slick Rick, Impact. I'll tell you
that's
Slick Rick. Okay. Live performance.
I'll tell you Rick.
Slick Rick.
I think that's Rick.
Mike, lyrics. Big.
Big.
Storytelling, Mike.
Yeah. That's right. Slick Rick.
That's slick, actually, that's slick for me. Classic albums, Big.
Yeah.
First of all, Slick Rick's the first one to take 3 off of Big.
Yeah.
Classic songs. That might be slick, Mike.
It might be. I think the multitude of classic songs would go to Big, though. Hold
on. But once again, I'm going to say this to you, and correct me if I'm wrong. Well, there's Lottie Dottie.
Mm-hmm.
There's The Show. There's Children's Story. There's Hey Young World. There's Mona Lisa. What's Big's 5?
Because Big's 5, I don't.
I agree
Big,
with
Mike.
that, but what I was gonna say is, even if I did do Big's 5, Big got 5 more, whereas Slick Rick wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, even if Slick Rick's 5 trumped Big's 5, Big got 5 more, because I could go One More Chance remix. I could go Juicy. I could go, you know, and I'll still be able to keep going. I'll say this.
That's fair. No, that's
Big
fair.
would beat Slick Rick in the verses.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Longevity of album.
We're talking about one album versus 2, and I think that one album has more longevity than damn near any album ever made in hip hop. So,
correct.
I'm at a stalemate. I might have to say Slick Rick there.
I actually would tell you that that's a tie because about everything that you just said.
Yeah.
Because it's 2-1, but the one that got made before has longer legs, but those two are pretty special.
Yeah.
But that one is. How about this? That one is one of the few albums that deserve to be mentioned with the big albums. You know what I'm saying? And it got made before, and it has more. How about this? The Greatest Adventures of Slick Rick has more individual hip hop classic records on it than Ready to Die or Life After Death.
In my opinion, I think The Great Adventures of Slick Rick is the 3rd best hip hop album of the 80s.
After Paid in Full and It Takes a Nation?
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree totally. It's number 3 on my list after those 2 albums as well.
I'm trying to think of one better. I can't.
No, there's not. There's not.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to all of it.
I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody, but nah.
Criminal Minded by Boogie Down.
Criminal Minded is not better than, nah. And I love Criminal Minded, but it's not better.
By Any Means Necessary and Criminal Minded by Boogie Down Productions comes to mind.
Straight Outta Compton
Wanted Dead or
comes to
Alive,
mind.
which is technically 1990. Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em's 91. People's Instinctive, which you know how I feel that'd be more of an objective play. Mike, Follow the Leader.
Straight Outta Compton's 88, but nah.
Straight Outta Compton. No, Straight Outta Compton, it deserves some recognition, but no, Mike, ain't nothing. Yeah. Paid in Full, It Takes a Nation, Greatest Adventures, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Or, however you, yeah. So, longevity of albums, what you say, the tie, or is that Slick?
I think that's Slick. You know what? We got to give Slick Rick credit for his 3rd album, too. Like, his 3rd album was
The Art of Storytelling album, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to sit here and act like he only literally had one album. You know what I mean?
Longevity of songs.
That's Slick Rick. I'm sorry. I'm just going to call it what it is.
Slick Rick is actually beating Big right now.
What?
Classic collaborations.
Well, that's big.
Career longevity quality.
They both had...
I'll tell you that's big because Big's records have lived on longer.
I think so, too. I agree. I mean, just collectively. I think that the few... Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you on that.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah, I know. Voice.
We're tied, and it's Voice, and it's Biggie and Slick Rick. I love Slick, but I gotta take Big. He's like the only guy I'll probably take voice-wise over Slick Rick is Biggie and Method Man and Tupac, off the top of my head. But Big, you know how I feel. Like it's ha 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 ha. Check out this rapper stuff.
He commands a lot.
He does, Mike. His voice. How about this? He dominates a track in a way Slick Rick could never could, and I say that respectfully.
But see, Slick Rick dominates
his voice, Mike. Like how about this? He can do a lot of what Slick does story-wise. Like I got a story to tell. It's kind of proof of that. But Slick Rick can't do Who Shot You or My Downfall. And
it's more versatility in his voice, yeah.
It's the voice, Mike, because the voice is chilling with my Sycamore style. More sicker than yours. 4-4 and 54 draw. No, if Slick says that, it don't sound the same because the voice is part of what makes that shit thunder.
Now, there's some things that Slick Rick can do with his voice that Big can't do either, but I do think if
Big does the two-tone voice. No, this is why I'm saying this. Slick's best claim to fame is the two-tone voice, and Big is one of the few people that have mastered it. So
yeah.
That's why I was like, no. Look here. That was a battle. That's a battle.
Yeah.
Okay, Black Thought, Method Man, Chuck D, Common, Raekwon, Ghostface. You think any of those guys got something for Big? You want to do any of those guys?
Let's do Common.
Okay. Impact.
Big.
Live performance.
Common.
I agree. Lyrics. I'll tell you beginning to end, that might be common.
That could be common.
It's big.
I'm trying to think though, what is I don't want to just give this to Common because of the content that he takes on either though. What is Common's most lyrical performance to you? Would you say the Sixth Sense?
I was about to say, does Common have a kick in the door, Mike?
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking of Who Shot You and stuff like, separate the weak from the obsolete. Hard to creep in Brooklyn streets.
It's still big.
Oh, nigga. Fuck all that bickering beat. I can hear sweat trickling down your cheek. Yeah, that's big.
That's what I'm saying. People understand. This motherfucker, nobody wasn't saying no bickering beef. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's super
special,
nice.
Mike. The words he's using, people don't understand. Bickering beef?
Your heartbeat sounds like Sasquatch feet.
Sasquatch, Mike? Once again, the word usage. Mike, what? Thundering?
I mean, even if we're talking about like the rhyme scheme, fuck all that bickering beef. I can hear sweat trickling down your cheek. Your heartbeat sounds like Sasquatch feet. Thundering, shaking the concrete. Yo.
I'm just talking about the word usage and placement, Mike. He's using words like Sasquatch and thundering and bickering in a hardcore
and then the rhyme
rap song,
scheme.
Mike. It's a hardcore rap song, Mike. It's crazy. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard on record is watching that man put words together on record. It's the illest shit I ever heard.
The rhyme scheme was crazy, and this is before people start breaking down syllables all this shit.
This is before literary devices.
Yeah, he was just doing it.
This is before literary devices.
Yeah.
Storytelling's big.
Yep.
Classic albums?
I might go Common because he has more.
I'll go Common on that. Classic songs is big.
Yep.
Longevity albums is big.
Yep.
Longevity of songs is big. We're done here.
Okay. 36 Chambers with a super chat says, if Slick kept up with Big through all that, he should be higher on the list than Black Thought. I was thinking the same thing. We're going to have to put Slick Rick back through at the very least. Can't have an artist that competes with a top 10 MC all time in the number 20-something spot. I agree.
He's at 18, but I agree. But I got, you know how I feel about Slick.
Yeah. Well, if Slick is at 18, I think that's pretty high for the amount of,
See, but also, too, but listen to what I'm saying. Like, we haven't put people like Ghostface, Raekwon, Common, Method Man, or Thought below Slick Rick, so he might end up, I could see him scoring higher than all of them and ending up being around 13 or 14, which would be more viable for the Biggie comp. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's like, that's kind of like why we're doing this. And I was like, you got somebody from that top 5 you want to put back through. Okay, Mike.
They said Big beating people with a 20-year career. Like, he would beat them in a versus straight up.
Yes.
I mean,
there's a reason we have him at number 5. We're not making this shit up or pulling it out the sky.
Yeah, for the people who haven't tuned into the Patreon, we played the records.
Yeah, if you weren't there, it was like that.
Well, I mean, the people who weren't even there, they still hear the records. Like, I wasn't here for what Marvin Gaye was doing, what he was doing, but I heard the records.
Records is like that.
Yeah, like...
Mike, respectfully, it's like, Method Man, we're Common. Raekwon, Ghostface, Kanye, Scarface.
Let's go Scarface.
I was actually thinking LL's at number 9, because I'm pretty certain he's going to beat Scarface. Look, Impact, bigger Scarface.
That's big. I don't know, though. I don't know. Because Scarface has influenced the whole region. And influenced Biggie to a certain level.
Big influenced Jay and Nas.
You think Big influenced Nas like that?
Mike, have you listened to It Was Written? Why do you think Street Dreams and If I Ruled the World got made?
Okay.
I
guess I was looking at it from that standpoint.
Why is Nas making commercial records in 1996? You motherfucking right.
Well,
that's a straight bad boy Biggie thing.
Okay.
To compete to sell records, straight up.
You don't think Tupac has anything to do with that too? And Snoop?
They not worried. They on some East Coast shit, Mike.
Okay.
It's Queens and Brooklyn.
Jay Short with the super chat says, "Can you do Chuck versus Biggie? You want to do that?"
We can, even though Chuck's below Common at 15. Impact.
I think Chuck.
I agree. Live performance.
I think Chuck.
Chuck gonna lose everything else though. Lyrics.
Big.
Storytelling.
That's big.
Classic albums.
Huh.
No, don't play those games.
I don't know, man. They got It Takes a Nation. And they got Fear of a Black Planet. And they got Yo Bum Rush the Show. I'll go big, but it's not by a whole lot. But again, I'm a huge
Yo Bum Rush
Public
the
Enemy.
Show and Fear of a Black Planet is not on Life or Death or Ready to Die level, and you know that. You know that.
I don't know if I know that. Public Enemy is the greatest hip hop group of all time to me. I know Joe Budden said Outkast was. Maybe we should talk about that too. But I'm going Public Enemy.
You've been wild today. You know that?
Yeah,
You've been real wild today.
Keeping it real, man.
Let's say, hold on. Let's go tie for classic albums.
Chuck also said that Eminem I forgot what he said. But yeah. Anyway, go ahead. So you're going to tie for that?
Yes. Classic songs.
Who? Big has more, but it's the same thing with that whole Slick Rick thing. Those guys
We gave that the big too. We gave that the big too.
We did. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna give it the big for the same reason I gave it the big over Slick. But I will tell you this though. If we were going up against each other in the verses, I would be very comfortable playing my Public Enemy records up against Biggie records. Very.
You can be comfortable, and that don't mean you winning shit. Being comfortable and
I
winning is two different things.
think I will win that. I would be confident. Let me say that.
What you think? Hold on. You think Public Enemy records beat Biggie records in the verses?
I think I can pull that one out. It ain't gonna be easy, but I can pull that one out. Yes.
No, I don't think you're pulling that out.
I think I can pull that one out. We should try that.
That's station head worthy.
Yeah.
Songs is big. Longevity of albums is big too.
Is it?
Yeah, because it's two albums versus one, because you can't sit up there and act like people are sitting up there talking about Fear of a Black Planet or Yo Bum Rush the Show like that, Mike. You really talking about It Takes a Nation of Millions when you talking about the longevity.
I don't like putting Chuck through these things. I'm too biased. I can't really make
You are, and you're coming off as biased too.
I'm admitting it. I'm clearly biased when it comes to Public Enemy, so I can't.
You are, because you out here struggling.
I can't really make decisions here.
How about this, Mike? You know what? Let me go ahead and kill it. Let's give that to Public Enemy anyway. Mike, classic collaborations.
That's definitely big.
Career longevity, quality.
That's Public Enemy.
How, Mike?
They stayed around. Big's not here anymore.
I said quality, Mike.
You don't think Public Enemy's been making quality? Public Enemy, they've been around since '87.
That's fine. We'll give that to him.
My
Voice. Big or Chuck?
Ooh. I'm going Chuck. I am. But again, count me out on this one. We might need to take this one to the people because I'm biased, clearly.
I mean, Big already won anyway, Mike,
Okay.
But you wild today. I don't think Scarface is gonna beat Big, but we can do it. You want to do Scarface? You said.
Let's do Scarface real quick.
Impact.
That's big, even though it's close though.
Live performance.
Scarface be playing instruments and stuff on stage.
I dig that. I give him that lyrics.
Who? Biggie.
Storytelling.
Scarface.
I'm with you on that. Classic albums.
Scarface.
With you. Classic songs.
Big.
Longevity of albums.
That's big, probably.
I tell you, that might be a tie.
See,
no, that's big.
Now who's being biased?
Right. No. I just said that's big. I give that the big. Longevity of songs. I'll give that to Scarface.
Really? How? Over
my
Big?
mind playing tricks on me.
Okay, what else you got? Because I could
man die.
I don't know if that got the legs that Juicy and One More Chance got. I don't.
My mind playing tricks on me doesn't. It precedes those records by about 6
agree,
years.
but I got more. You know what I'm saying? I got Who Shot Ya. I got, you know what I'm saying? hypnotize, more money, more problems.
I guess.
Get money. Like you're gonna be hearing big records for.
I said, I guess, Mike.
It is what it is. I understand. I was just biased with Chuck, so I get it.
Classic collaborations.
That's big. Even though Scarface has a lot of great collaboration.
This is over. LL's at 9. You want to go LL?
Sure, let's do LL. I'm interested to see this one.
Impact.
LL.
Live performance.
LL.
Lyrics.
Big.
Storytelling.
Big.
Classic albums.
Big.
Classic songs.
LL.
No, Mike. You're not about to give L that shit.
Whoa. Nobody has more classic songs than L.
Name them, because I bet you Biggie does.
Oh, so you want me to name them? Rock the Bells. Radio.
Hold on. I want you to count them out.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Rock the Bells. Radio. I Need a Beat. Bad. I Need Love. You want me to keep going?
Yep. You need more than
Jingling
that.
Baby remix.
You need more than that.
No.
Yeah,
I'm just going in
I want you
order.
to keep going.
I'm just going in order. Jingling Baby remix. You got Round the Way Girl.
7.
That's 7, yeah. Round the Way Girl. Then you got Mama Said Knock You Out.
That's 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mama Said Knock You Out was first, but I'm not going to knock you for not going in order. It's cool.
No, I'm just trying to go in chronological order to some degree. This man has so many records.
You got 8 records.
Yeah, I got 8 records. And I got Hey Lover. You got
Lounging and Doing It. That's 11.
Doing It. That's 11. I can always go I Shot You. I can go 4, 3, 2, 1. That's 13. I even skipped over the Ripper, Jack the Ripper, excuse me.
It's not
Big Old Butt.
It's not a classic.
It's not a classic.
Big Old Butt might be a classic.
Come on now.
That's 14.
Let's not do that to LL.
Ripper Strikes Back's not a classic. Big Old Butt's a classic.
What's not a classic?
Ripper.
Ripper Strikes Back's not a classic.
No, it's not. It's really
Took Cool Mo D out the game, huh? Going back to Cali, is that classic to you?
Okay, I can do Going Back to Cali.
Okay, Going Back to Cali, you good with that?
Yeah, about 15.
Backseat of My Jeep.
Okay, that's 16. You about 16 deep.
It's a lot of records, man.
Very problematic.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to give it to him, man.
You sure? No, Mike. No, you're not. Because here's what I have. Okay, Mike. First of all, I got Who Shot You.
Okay.
I got Big Papa. I got Juicy.
Mm-hmm.
I got Warning. Okay.
Okay.
I got the One More Chance remix. I got Hypnotize.
Mm-hmm.
I got Sky's the Limit.
Oh, man, with you naming Sky's the Limit, you're running out of gas.
Mike, you need to watch your tone.
You're running out of gas. You've
problems.
admitted on this show this Sky's the Limit is submitted.
More money, more problems. I don't like Sky's the Limit, Mike. That's just me. I don't like that happy shit. More money, more problems. Where are we at? We at 8?
Yeah.
Fucking You Tonight with R. Kelly.
Smith.
All right. You want to know what? Just give it to L.
Yeah, you're not going to beat Mr. Smith with that because I got a whole nother set.
No, you don't have another set.
I do got a whole nother set.
You don't have no other set.
I could
you
go
named all the records.
Love You Better. You know what I'm saying?
That is not another set, Mike.
Oh,
like
that is
said.
enough. Since you're naming, what is it? Sky's the Limit. Love You Better is better than Sky's the Limit.
They both happy and tacky, Mike. Longevity of albums.
That's big.
Longevity of songs.
That's L. Rock
Classic
the Band.
collaborations.
That is big.
Career longevity quality. That's L.
That's L.
Mike, only the legends are giving Big some run. It's been Slick Rick and LL, but Mike, guess where we're back to again?
Voice.
Sorry, L.
I don't know, bro. I think LL has one of the
Mike, if you sit up there and
underrated.
say LL has a better rap voice than Biggie, Mike, we just gonna have to fight.
This is what I'm
like,
gonna
for real.
say.
No. Set up the accordion hip hop boxing match, Mike. No, he
doesn't.
doesn't.
This is what I'm gonna say. I think LL has one of the most underrated rap voices, period. I think
Mike, but he don't have a top 10 rap voice. Biggie does. Next
I think he does have a top 10.
No, he
rap
doesn't.
voice.
It's not better than Snoop's. It's not better than Ice Cube. It's not better than Rakim. It's not better than Chuck D. It's not better than Method Man. It's not better than Tupac. No.
You didn't name 10 people. You ain't named 10 people.
I just named like 8, Mike.
You named 5.
Okay, Mike. Let's be clear. Slick Rick, KRS-One, and Rakim have a better rap voice. Biggie.
I don't know about KRS. I'm gonna have to put that
KRS-One has a better rap voice than LL Cool J, Mike. You heard him live.
Oh yeah, no, he's a better performer than LL Cool J.
No, it's the voice, Mike.
He has a great voice.
Mike, Kane got a better rap voice than LL, Mike.
Who?
Kane rap voice better than L's rap voice.
I love Kane's rap voice, but I disagree.
L's borderline not even top 5 for his era in terms of rap voice. Mike, how are you saying this? Like, you wild.
Have you heard
today,
Mama
Mike.
Said Knock You Out?
You're overrating L's rap voice, Mike. I'm sorry.
The baddest around. I don't know, man.
It's a good rap voice, Mike. It's really, really clear, but it's not Method Man, Big, Pac. Hold on. Method Man, Big, Pac, Chuck D, Ice Cube, Scarface, Rakim, Slick Rick, Chuck D. That's 9, Mike. That's 9 right there.
This might be an unpopular opinion, and this is no disrespect.
I ain't even said Nas, Mike.
I think he has a better rap.
So do KRS.
I think he has a better rap voice than Scarface, in my opinion.
Next. So you want to go to Snoop, Mike? Nobody even acknowledging what you're saying no more.
I want to see what people are saying in the chat, though. Jermaine
Mike,
Johnson.
Nobody's picking LL's voice over Biggie, Mike. Don't do it to yourself. Make the people ask, Mike. Go ahead and get your feelings hurt. Go ahead.
Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, Radio Raheem introduced me to Public Enemy. Shout out to Radio Raheem. Rest in peace. And people got to know that I'm live, man. Hold on 1 second, bro. Let me cut this thing off. Boom. Man, people will not leave me alone. Let's see. What are people saying? What will people say? Jay Short with the super chat says, Fear of a Black Planet got 911. Welcome to the Terror Dome and Fight the Power. Those are all-time classics, and so is the album. Chat says Chuck Warren. Hey, I'm not mad at the chat for that. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, Coop, you forgot Head Sprung.
Stop.
My name is Big Ellen. Yeah, they're saying LL's voice over KRS and Chuck D. They're saying they got They're saying they got LL in the chat.
Where?
Mad Max says Coop is a LL hater. I'm just going through the chat. Not a big fan of LL's voice like that. Okay. Rakim has a better voice and breath control than everybody.
Biggie too.
Stop trying to shortchange LL's voice. Just good, shaking my head. Very problematic. LL can beat Scarface. Damn, cooping is a thing today. LL's voice over KRS and Chuck D. We got LL in the chat. Young LL's voice, maybe. Rakim has a better voice than LL to me. To me, too. LL having a better voice than Scarface is wild. Give it to LL. LL above Big sounds real. LL has the voice. Scarface voice is, let's see. Clearly he don't read the chat unless somebody's talking about him. LL wins the voice over Big. LL has the better voice. LL call him Mike. LL does have a better voice than Big. It's not by much. LL Cool J is hard as hell. Pause. Biggie's breath is too hard in his voice. Pause. Let's see what else we got. Biggie's
if you
voice.
Want to give it to Big, you can.
Biggie's voice got cholesterol. I love LL to win. I want LL to win. LL's on the phone. LL's voice is C class. AZ has a
mix, Mike.
We need to put up a poll for this one. I mean, I'm with you.
How about this, Mike? I mean,
for the same reasons I picked Biggie's voice. this is what I'm gonna say though. For the same reason I put Biggie's voice over Slick Rick for the versatility, I'll give Biggie that one because my thing with when LL's voice is in the "I'm bad, Mama said knock you out, I need a beat" pocket, I think it is elite. But when he does the "I'm that type of guy" thing, not
Going
so
back
much.
to Cali, I need love.
Yeah, not so much. Every version of Big is high level. So I'm fine with giving Big that one. But I'm just saying, I don't want to understate LL's voice. That's all I was saying.
You can skip the wine and the candlelight. No crystal tonight. It's all right with you. B.I.G.
LL beat Big in the chat for voice. It does look like the chat picked LL over Big. You know what we'll do? We'll let Big move on, but we'll put a poll out there on our YouTube channel about the two voices, and if it goes the other way, then we'll flip it.
Okay. If LL wins that, then Big is officially at 9, and LL moves up.
Okay. Jay Short says, I'm with Coop. LL's voice ain't nobody sampling or scratching his voice for a hook, and he's from NY, respectfully.
It ain't like that, Mike. KRS-One voice gets sampled. Cool G Rap, Slick Rick, Rakim, their voices get sampled all the time. Why ain't nobody sampling LL's voice? It's a very valid point. Y'all like the crispness and the clarity of the voice. Crispness and clarity doesn't mean better voice. You're talking about the crispness of it. Just because your voice is crisp doesn't mean that it's better.
I'm thinking,
you know
Milky.
Like, I'll give you an example. Like, how about this?
Back.
What's his name? They used to cover Howard Cosell. Like, fundamentally speaking, he doesn't have a better voice than like a Walter Cronkite, but it's more interesting and it grabs you and it does something different from a media personality. That's Biggie's voice. It's like, no. LL got a classic clear, he's a blueprint. So it's a classic clear ass rapper voice. It's like a blueprint voice. Biggie's voice is something different, Mike. It's like syrup on pancakes when the nigga rap. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it. A T-bone steak. Cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape. Conversate for a few, because in a few, we gonna do what we came to do.
People are really pushing for LL over Big. I understand. Because
you
the thing is,
push with Lupe. I don't care.
No. LL's different, though. With his illustrious
LL's
career.
not big vocally, guys. I'm sorry. He can't. Mike, imagine him trying to do something like a Warning. Vocally. Let's be real with ourselves here, Mike. Imagine him doing a niggas bleed, Mike.
Well, see, you know what? Now that we have
my downfall, like vocally,
wait a minute.
level, because here's what Big doesn't. No, Big can ride the middle away, but L can't. I dream filthy, my mom.
Hold on, cool. Now that we have AI technology, we can actually do this. We can actually do this. I just heard them put Jay-Z's voice for Still DRE and had him rapping his lyrics for Still DRE, and it was dope. So yeah, we can actually put LL's voice on Warning. I would love for one of the listeners out there to use AI technology, put LL's voice over Warning, and send it to us. We'll listen to it. I love
L. Let's not do that to L, Mike.
And then we'll put Biggie's voice on I Need Love or something.
Biggie can rap fine over anything, Mike. He's rapping over Nasty Boy, Mike. He can rap to anything LL ever did. He rapped the Nasty Boy.
He killed that shit. I remember we went to Tennessee, then came home. Man, messages was on my phone. Bitch named Simone, scheming, she fiending for the semen. Me being the man that I am. Took her to a condo, pronto. Half Indian, I called a Tonto.
Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, go to something like The World Is Filled. It's like L can't lace The World Is Filled like Big did. When the Remy's in the system, ain't no telling, will I fuck him, will I diss him? That's what these hoes yelling. I'm a pimp by blood, not relation. I still chase on. Y'all replay song on. Drunk off dawn. No, L can't do that. No.
I think L could do that.
No, we can't.
Let's use the AI technology. I want to see. I'm about to do it too. I'm going to do it tomorrow.
Are we putting Big up against Snoop, Ice Cube, or KRS-One?
Let's put him up against Snoop. Trying to sell records like him. Impact is, that's Snoop.
That's Snoop. Live performance, Snoop.
That's Snoop.
Lyrics?
That's big.
Big. Storytelling? Big.
That's big.
Classic albums? It's big. Still,
I don't know, man. Listen. Doggy Style over everything.
Doggy
right?
Style's not that much better than Ready to Die or Life After Death.
It's
not
better than them
that
both,
much
right?
better. Huh?
It's better than them both, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then we're gonna go either R&G, Blue Carpet Treatment. He just has
but those
so
aren't
much
even in the
work.
stratosphere.
He has so much work.
Mike, they're not even any close, Mike. We don't even know if those are top 100 rap albums.
Okay, well, I'm giving Snoop songs. How about that?
Snoop can have the songs. He's not taking the albums.
It's just so difficult to put somebody with 2 albums over somebody with that many albums and has
two classic albums better.
Has a top 5 album of all time.
He has a top 5 album, Mike, but what do the other albums look like? Where are the other albums after the top 5 album? Like 80, 90? No, because Big is sitting up there like, well, I got Ready to Die. That's like 9. I got Life After Death. That's like 12. You got 2 top 20 albums, Mike. He might be the only nigga walking around like this. Him and Snoop are the only niggas walking around outside of Wu-Tang Clan. It's like, well, you know, I got 2 top 20 albums.
Well,
I got the Chronic and Doggy Style. Are we counting the Chronic?
I was going to say, you seem to count the Chronic in any other situation.
I know he wrote the Chronic.
Yeah.
You want to know it? If you want to give Snoop the albums over Big,
I was going to say we got to be consistent because you always throw in that he's the author of the Chronic.
I'll give it to him about the Chronic. Just not about that other shit. You talking about some Rhythm and Gangster and Blue Carpet Treatment. It's like, you better get out of here with that shit when you talking about Life After Death and Ready to Die. It's not in the stratosphere.
And the Chronic and Doggy Style are better than them both.
Correct. The Chronic and Doggy Style are better than Ready to Die and Life After Death. Those are 2 top 10. How about this? Ready to Die and Life After Death are borderline top 10 rap albums. The Chronic and Doggy Style are top 10 rap albums.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay.
Period. I'll give that to Snoop and I'll give him the songs. Big in a little bit of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Snoop's big. Longevity of albums.
That might go to Snoop.
Snoop. Longevity of songs might be Big. By volume.
Is it? Okay.
Because think about it. And you pointed this out to me. How much are they still playing What's My Name and Gin and Juice and Let Me Ride?
Those records should get played more, but they don't.
They should.
Yeah.
Classic collaborations is big.
Is it? Snoop got a lot.
What's Snoop's best collab? Because I tell you, it's Pac on America's Most Wanted. And after that, it's like, New York with the Dog Pound. It's like, oh no, that ain't good enough to be Big, fam. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fair.
If that's his peak,
that nigga got a classic with Shaq. Yeah, I feel you.
It's making classics.
And technically, like Victory is a collaboration. Yeah,
making classics with people who can't rap.
Yeah, Victory is a classic collaboration, and so is All About the Benjamins. And
Can't You See? Yeah. Only You, Dolly My Baby. What's the 411 remix? We really want to do this.
Give me all the chicken grits and Pasadena to Medina.
That Nasty Bastard R. Kelly on the R. Kelly album. Big, Be Happy. Nasty Bastard R. Kelly.
He made a record with Michael Jackson too on History.
He did.
Yeah.
It's B.I.G. Career longevity quality of Snoop.
Mm-hmm.
Voice. You gonna tell me Snoop got a better voice than Big too?
I might. Is that crazy? Snoop has one of the best rap voices ever. I'm sorry. I think I'm going with Snoop on that one, man. He can say anything with his voice. What do y'all say? I want to, you know what? We might have to actually put a poll in the chat here. Do y'all think that Big has a better rap voice than Snoop, or Snoop has the better rap voice?
You know what, Mike? Here's what I'm going to do. We're just going to pause right there. We're going to put Big at number 8 between Snoop and LL.
Okay, no. People are saying stuff. Big's voice over Snoop.
No, damn all that. I don't even want to hear it no more. We're sticking Big between LL and Snoop until we get some further evidence about this voice thing.
Snoop's voice is iconic.
Snoop technically beat him, but it's just y'all are tripping. And I don't agree with some of the stuff that led to this criteria, but we're going to slide Biggie at number 8.
Snoop got a Crip voice.
Snoop got a Crip voice. What kind of racist shit is that to be saying on According to Hip Hop Live?
Snoop's voice is top 3. He does. Snoop has the voice.
I just put Biggie behind Snoop. What do y'all want?
No, I'm just reading what people are saying because I want to make sure.
What these people are saying, Mike. Let's get to this list. This is how the list gonna get done. Tell me what the people are saying.
No, that was very entertaining, though. I think that I don't think anybody was bored with that one. That was very entertaining.
See, but we didn't add anybody to the list. We just replaced Biggie at 5 and put him at 8.
Okay.
We actually need to add people to this list. So let's get somebody added to this list because we literally just spent 35 minutes on Big. That's why I was like, damn, what these people saying.
Well, I think that was important because I think a lot of folks think that when it comes to somebody like Biggie, we just throw him somewhere. Like, oh, he top 5. He had to go through.
Top 10 on a bad day, Mike, as you can see.
Oh, yeah, man. He's different. He's incredible.
I mean, just the fact that he's at number 8 with 2 albums. I mean,
where's Kanye West?
Kanye's at 11.
Okay. Where we at?
Hey, Mike, when we drop his ass back down, he's not gonna make it back up to 11. I'm just going to let you know that now. As a Kanye fan, I'm gonna let you know he's not gonna make it back up.
We'll see. Who we doing next? People want Lupe.
Right.
Let's do
Lupe then. Lupe versus Freddie. Impact.
Lupe.
Live performance.
Lupe.
Lyrics.
Lupe.
Storytelling.
Lupe.
Classic albums.
That
Freddie.
might be Freddie.
Classic songs.
Lupe.
Longevity of albums. Lupe wins this.
Mm-hmm.
Game. Impact.
That's the game.
Live performance.
I'm not sure.
Lupe.
That might be Lupe. That's what I'm thinking.
Lyrics is Lupe.
Yep.
Storytelling is Lupe.
Mm-hmm.
Classic albums is Game.
Yep.
Classic songs is Game.
Mm-hmm.
Longevity of albums, Game.
Yep.
Longevity of songs, Game.
Yeah.
Classic collaborations.
Neither one of them do a whole lot of collaborations, but at least with Game's collaborations, we kind of hear them on his albums. Like Alabumbaye, even though that's his song, it's still him collaborating. You know what I mean?
Alabumbaye. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Career longevity quality.
I gotta say that's Game, man. Game was around before Lupe and is still producing at a high level.
All right, Game wins that. So Lupe is going to be at 37. I'm sorry, 38.
Okay. Who else we got? You want to do Talib?
Ooh, we're doing all the people I done got into it with today. Okay. This the haters ball version.
The haters.
All right,
ball.
fine. Talib, Impact versus Freddie.
Talib.
Live performance, Talib.
Mm-hmm.
Lyrics, Talib.
Yep.
Storytelling, Talib.
Yep.
Classic albums, Freddie.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not by
Classic
a lot.
songs, Talib. It's not like that. It's not like
it's
that.
not by a lot. I mean, he has the Black Star album. He has.
Freddie's got 4 solo projects.
Reflection Eternal.
That are better or equal to Talib's best solo work. What are we doing here?
Okay.
Are Freddie's 4 best projects not equal to Reflection Eternal? So it's not a conversation.
Okay.
Right.
I think Reflection Eternal is Talib's seminal piece, in my opinion.
It's not better than Alfredo. Or Bandana, if you really want to know.
I got to listen to both of them back to back.
You
But
can listen. No, I'm very...
you're confident in that.
It might be better than Pinata or Soul Sold separately. It's not better than Bandana or Alfredo, but Freddie got 4 projects comparable to his seminal project. That's clearly Freddie.
Jay Short with the
Even
Super Chat says...
put 2 Black Star albums in, he's still an album behind.
Jay Short with the Super Chat says, I'd say Snoop's voice because of the stuff like Exhibit, Kill B Please, and Snoop just came through and matched him just being himself with his voice. Yeah, Snoop's voice is special. He could just slide in there and just say anything, man.
You got it. You got it.
Go ahead. I still want to ask the people though, man. You know what I mean?
Man, please ask the people. Put Snoop, LL, and Biggie all on one little thread.
Yeah, who has the best rap voice? We should pick a
rap voice between the three. Snoop, LL, Big. It's a nice little 3-4 year generational gap.
Okay, I think that'll be dope.
I think it'll be dope too. I think people are smoking dope too. Where are we at again?
Talib and Freddie.
Oh yeah, classic songs. Talib.
Yep. Just to get by, just to get by.
Longevity of albums. Talib.
Yeah.
Talib wins that.
Okay.
Lupe, Impact. Talib or Lupe? I tell you Lupe.
I say Lupe too.
Live performance. I tell you Talib.
Okay.
Lyrics. Lupe.
Lupe. Yep.
Too many people gonna beat Lupe at that. Storytelling. Lupe.
Yep.
Classic albums.
I think that's Lupe actually.
I think that's Talib.
Because people are saying quality, beautiful struggle, eardrum.
I think it's Talib over Lupe, but I mean, naming them albums, I ain't about to Freddie shit.
I think with Lupe we got the
this
cool.
This might be a tie.
With Lupe we got the cool. We got the first album.
Now here's why I will lean on Lupe. The cool is better than all of this shit between the two of them.
I think that his stuff has impacted its era more than Talib's stuff has.
I would agree with that.
So I would lean more towards Lupe in this conversation.
Me too. But I would tell you that the songs, the albums is Lupe, but the songs are Talib.
Yeah, the songs are Talib.
Longevity of albums? Like the same time frame damn near.
Yeah, I think that still might be Lupe.
I do too, because of the cool and because of Food and Liquor.
Yeah. Because again, I think people view Food and Liquor a lot higher than I do. But when I hear people talk about Food and Liquor, they're saying classic. Not to mention, Jargus Wave too. Yeah, and I love Jargus Wave actually. Talib has a whole lot of projects though, man. I don't
classic collaborations.
That's Talib.
That is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Career longevity qualities. That's Talib.
Yeah. He been here since 98.
Yeah, so Talib skips over Lupe. Talib in the game. Impact. I'll tell you Game, because Game ignited a coast in a way that Talib never did.
I agree.
Live performance, I might tell you
that's Talib, yeah.
Lyrics, Talib.
Yep.
Storytelling?
Talib.
Classic albums is Game.
Yep.
I think classic songs is Game too.
Yep.
Longevity of albums, Talib?
Sure. I don't know, man, because the documentary got legs.
It does. I might go Game on that too, because the documentary got legs like nothing Talib ever made.
As a full album.
Now, does Game have a blast or a get by though?
That's
Talib. Talib with the songs.
Yeah.
Classic collaborations.
That's
I think that might be Talib.
Yeah.
Career longevity quality.
That's Talib.
That's Talib.
Yeah.
Talib just beat Game.
Okay.
Guru. Impact, Guru.
Yep.
Live performance, Guru.
Yep.
Lyrics, I would tell you it's a tie.
Two totally different approaches, but I'm okay with that.
Storytelling, Guru.
Mm-hmm.
Classic albums, Guru. Classic songs,
Guru.
Longevity of albums.
That's Guru.
That's it.
Okay.
Talib's at 37.
Okay.
We got 40. Freddie's at 40. Now I'll tell you who we haven't covered yet.
Okay. This was fun tonight.
No, this was.
I think what we should do, we should pick somebody in that top, until we get this finished. We should pick somebody in that top 10 to 20
And
to
ring them back
start it
down
off.
every week.
Because that right there gets it going, and then bring in the other person.
Okay, so I'm with you. So how about this? Before we go to who we're going to put in next, who's the next person we should rate next is from the top. So our top looks like this right now. Nas at 1, Jay-Z at 2, Rakim at 3, Tupac at 4, KRS-One at 5, Ice Cube at 6, Snoop at 7, Biggie at 8, LL at 9, Scarface at 10, Kanye at 11, Ghostface at 12,
Let's pull
Raekwon at
Jigga Man
13.
out. Let's pull Jigga Man out.
You want to pull Jay out?
Why not? We said we were going to do it.
You want to do it now?
No. Okay, if we were to do it now, where do you want to start?
Out of respect for him,
It would have to be somewhere in the 10. You want to start at Kanye?
No, out of respect for him, I would start at 20 with Kane because I know he's going to beat DMX, I feel like. So I would start at 20 with Kane.
I think he's going to beat Kane.
Are you sure about that?
Let's do it real quick.
Because Slick Rick's at 18 and Big had a problem with Slick. And I imagine Jay is too. You want to just go to Slick Rick? Yeah, let's just go to Slick Rick. Let's just do Jay and Slick Rick and we'll pick it up from there.
Okay.
No, you
Okay.
said let's
do it.
Jay. We're putting him. I think we're showing him respect by putting him like back through the ringer at like 18 to 20 because we put Big lower. We started Big at 25.
Yeah, we did. Okay. All right,
So,
Slick Rick.
Kane or Slick Rick, which one you want?
I don't
Or you
think
want
Kane
both?
has enough records to
But Kane does a lot of things that rock.
better performer, better voice.
Right. That's why it's like, oh. No,
All right, let's do
nigga.
Kane. Let's do Kane.
Okay,
So people don't
first
think
of
we're
all-
ducking.
Impact.
Jay,
That's cool. Live performance.
Kane,
Mike, listen what I'm saying. Lyrics.
Jay. Yeah. Give me the evils from Kane's catalog.
Give me the half stepping in Jay's catalog.
Oh, he got those. You know what I'm saying?
Name one record like it ain't no half stepping. No, he doesn't have no.
You
It
talking
Ain't
about
No Half
lyrically?
Lyrically, no, he doesn't. He
He
doesn't
got-
have a 3-verse song as good as Ain't No Half Stepping.
You telling me
Or
records like
Biggie.
La 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 that aren't on par with that? Come on.
It ain't no half stepping as far. That's what I'm saying. It's like no. Ain't no half stepping is the bar performance and the record. No, Jay don't have that.
Well, what
'Cause
else you got? I mean,
Dead Presidents would be Dead Presidents would be the comp lyrically, and
Right.
as far as the song is concerned, ain't no half stepping is blowing Dead Presidents out the water. And you know that.
So where is Kane's song cry? Where is Kane's let's just keep it a buck here. If we're gonna go there, where's Kane's Heart of the City?
That's fine. We'll give Jay
Where's
lyrics.
Kane's A Million and One? Okay,
Storytelling.
that's Jay.
Classic albums.
That's Jay.
Classic songs.
That's Jay.
Longevity of albums.
That's Jay.
Okay. He's done with Kane. Slick Rick. Mike. Impact.
That's Ricky.
Live
MC
performance.
Ricky D. That's Jay. That's Jigga Man.
Live performance is Jay over Slick Rick? No, it's not, Mike.
Jay does arenas, man. Like, you got the B-side performance. You got
Mike,
the
nobody,
Fade to Black.
nobody in hip hop culture thinks that Jay-Z's a better live performer than Slick Rick.
So
Nobody.
what's Slick Rick's seminal performance? And I'm just naming out some of Jay's.
I mean, first of all, Slick Rick existed in a time where those type of numbers weren't being done, and you know that. So
Well,
that's
not
fair.
type of numbers, just stages that he's performed on. The
Mike,
granted,
live performance-wise, Jay-Z is not the performer that Slick Rick is. That's disrespectful.
I think he has become that. I think coming out the gate, and if we're talking about Hard
Mike,
Knock Life, Jay,
Mike,
yeah.
you're talking about an old Mike. No, you're talking about an old time in your mind that don't exist no more. What year are you talking about again?
I'm talking about like a couple of years ago. I'm not talking
Where?
about
I
a
just
long
saw
time
Slick
ago.
Rick in the garden with Nas.
Okay, did he perform?
Yeah.
I
He
mean,
did
a
Hey Young
full
World.
set?
Yeah, he did perform. He did Hey
He
Young
did a
World.
full set?
Huh?
He did a full set? Because whenever
No, he
Jay
did Hey
performs,
Young
he does
World.
a
That's what I'm
full
saying.
set.
Where's your Jay performance at, though?
Jay just did
What
a
Jay
tour.
performance without Beyonce are you talking about? Or Kanye? I'm just asking questions.
He may
here.
tour with them, but he doesn't perform with them.
When are you talking about, and when was Beyonce and Kanye not on the stage?
What do the people say? Oh, Chris
Mike, I'm asking you when.
No, they're never on the stage with him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you talk about him as a live performer, Mike, you're talking nostalgically like it's 2007 when it's like 2023, and it's like it's not like that.
On the Run Tour 2 was not that long ago.
Beyonce? What'd you say, Beyonce's tour
They
again?
don't perform at the same time, Coop. She'll do her set and he does his set.
Mike, them arenas ain't sold out if she not there. And so when you talking about all these big shows that he's done, that's why I'm telling you, well, when the last time he did a big show without Beyonce or Kanye?
I can't go with the ifs or whatever, but all I do know is as a performer,
Mike, you gotta go back to the Hard Knock Life tour.
As a performer, he's just more experienced and has done bigger.
Slick, Mike, no.
I
Mike,
disagree with you. Let's see what the people say.
Like, Jay doesn't have a live stage performance rep like that. Like, how about this, Mike? In his heyday, when he would be on tour with DMX, he wasn't even the best performer on Def Jam.
I agree with that, and I already said that.
Now you're telling me that he's better than Slick Rick on stage?
Cool.
Like, no.
Like I said, and
you don't even have the records, Mike.
Maybe you're not listening to me, and maybe you didn't hear what I said before. I said, again, let me talk. If I said that if we're talking about Hard Knock Life, Jay, yes, I would pick Slick Rick. But over the years, he's become a better and better performer. If we're talking about the guy who had Memphis Bleak there with him being his hype man, yeah, I agree. But over the years, Jay has put in the focus and put in the work to be a better performer, and I think he's a better performer than Slick Rick now. Oh, let me get to the super chat.
Evidence of that without mentioning Beyonce or Kanye, though. It's just the same thing that you're saying about Mike. You can't sit up there and reference the catalog and the music in relationship to Kanye and not then reference the stage performance, because here's the reality of the matter. Just like he ain't made no high shit. Well, what he going out there and performing? Because here's what I'm trying to explain to you. Slick Rick is performing Mona Lisa in Children's Story and Hey Young World in The Show and Lottie Dottie. No, Jay don't give a better performance because he don't have those fucking records. He don't have Slick Rick's voice. He don't have Slick Rick's stage presence. He don't have Slick Rick's impact. We just did Impact. Now, how you got him above Slick Rick as a performer?
I disagree with you. I think he's a better performer.
What records is he a better performer than Slick Rick? What records is Jay performing that's bigger and better? And what about him vocally live is better? Like, no.
So now it's about who has the better and more impactful records that makes him the better performer. Let me get to the super chats real quick. Chris
Mona
says,
Lisa matters.
Chris with the super chat says, Mike, you like Big. Coop loves Big. I'm with you, Mike. And when y'all do your new format with the callers, Coop, you will agree. Let me see what somebody else said.
I never agree with y'all.
Anime Bros Podcast with a super chat says Grammy Family Freestyle is over Kane's lyrics. I'm with you on that. Frank Wizard with the super chat says, Mike, there are a few live streams from the past couple of weeks I tried to catch up on Spotify that aren't there, but are on YouTube. What's up with that? We'll add them on Spotify. I thought the most recent episodes are on Spotify. They should be. Let's see. Jay Short with the super chat says, respectfully, something's not right when with how we evaluate Freddie. He has 3 to 4 classics and still at number 40. Doesn't seem right. Are we saying that he is the product of great producers? Quite possibly. Or he just focuses on making great albums, and maybe albums are like his big, main focus. Anime Bros with the super chat says, Jay-Z's Webster Hall is a better performance. Please stop. Okay.
Hey. No, real talk.
You can go ahead and get the live performance with Slick Rick. We'll get
the most impressive thing that I ever saw Jay do live was the Nigga What Nigga Who verse on MTV Unplugged. That's what I'm talking about.
He does it all the time, though. He has that Unplugged performance too. We got to give it.
No. I'm specifically referencing that part of the performance because it executed a level of showmanship and breath control that he hadn't exercised before.
Well, you know what? Speaking of which, and I think Esquire took words out of my mouth. Says the God did verse is overrated, but he just did a 4-minute verse with no stumbling once, and his clarity and his strength as a performer. And the B-side show was fire. Yeah, he's talking about the
I
Grammy
hate to be the one
performance.
to break it to
No,
y'all,
no,
but
no,
this is
no, no.
what
The
I'm
God
saying.
did verse performance at the Grammys was very impressive, and that was just a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Okay, so Mike, and I say this respectfully. How many verses is Lottie Dottie in Children's Story again, and how many times has Slick Rick performed that live while y'all talking about this average-ass God did verse? Because Children's Story is a straight 3-minute run of the finest hip-hop brilliance ever that man has done flawlessly on stage more times than Jay could ever pray to do the God did verse. What are we talking about?
Esquire with the super chat says, Slick has been bad live for 15 plus years. The Madison Square Garden show with Nas. See, the fans are
Where
speaking.
was Slick bad at?
We just want to see Slick. I mean, his presence alone, his presence is a present. But I think you're on mute, Coop. I think you're on mute. I can't hear a word you're saying.
I just watched.
Okay.
That's why. Hold on. I just watched him walk out the garden while Nas was there. It's like, no, fam, it's different. It's different when you got a legend like him with the records that he has. The live performance set is different, Mike. It transcends generations. Like, respectfully, Mike, Big Pimpin' don't transcend generations. Nigga what, nigga who don't transcend generations, Mike. Hard Knock Life don't transcend generations, Mike. Lottie Dottie, the show, Children's Story, Mona Lisa, Hey Young World, transcendent live show stage songs.
I understand what you're saying, but you're speaking more so to the songs than the actual performance ability of the individual.
On the Run tour with Beyonce, Mike. That's what I'm saying.
I'm even speaking to the Grammy performance. I mean, it was impressive.
The Grammy performance ain't like that, fam. If he can't do 4 verses, if he can't do a 4-minute verse, like at this point, no, ain't nobody trying to hear that. Like, why are we giving this man credit for doing something he's supposed to be knowing how to do?
Okay.
The verse ain't that good. That's
Lord.
like that Chris Rock said shit about like niggas taking care of their kids. It's like, man, niggas love talking about how they take care of their kids. It's like, man, rappers love talking about how they execute a verse. It's like, did you hear Jay execute the verse during the Grammy? He's a rapper. He raps for a living. If he did the verse, he needs to be able to step on stage and execute it. You're like, oh my God, but he did a 4-minute verse, Coop. It's like, did he write it? Did he recite it? Did he think of it? He better be able to get up and do it live. What the fuck? Mike, when we are recording the cypher, Mike, when we are recording the cypher, and you know this, I came in, I did not have my verse memorized. Mike, what did I do while I was there recording the cypher? I memorized the verse because, Mike, that was my job for the day. I did that shit in about 30 minutes, Mike. I memorized the verse I didn't have memorized. They're like, oh, you memorized it. It's like, so the fuck what? That was his job. I don't even do this shit anymore, and I memorized some shit in 30 minutes. So the fuck what?
Well, let the record show. I think Jay is a better performer than Slick Rick, but if everybody else thinks Slick Rick got that category, go ahead.
Lyrics, Jay-Z.
Jay.
Storytelling. What, you gonna tell me Jay on that one too?
Nah, that's Slick.
Okay, just checking, Mike. Classic albums.
Jay.
Classic songs, Mike.
Jay.
Name them.
Oh man, come on, man. We're gonna do that.
Just ask some questions.
Come on, man. There's not a lot.
That's fine.
We're not gonna do that, man.
Longevity of albums.
That's Jay.
Longevity of songs. You better not say that's Jay.
I'll give that to Slick Rick. His songs
Classic collaborations.
That's Jay. Esquire with the super chat says, to be fair, Coop, Nas messed up lyrics live often. Nas messes up lyrics live often.
And I be calling that shit out. I do not appreciate that shit at all. But he's not up against Slick Rick for live performance right now. And if he was, I would be telling you Slick Rick over him too. How about that? I think Slick Rick live performance better than Nas live performance too. And right.
I don't know, man. I think that.
Yeah. We know how you feel.
Yeah, Jay's the better performer, but hey. Go ahead.
No, between the two, Jay has been the better performer longer. If we're talking between Jay and Nas, yes.
And Slick Rick, but whatever. That's a music.
No, it's not. But whatever. You let them Kanye and them Beyonce tours and all them sellout stadiums fool you. He wasn't even better than DMX. No, I seen him live next to DMX. No.
You're talking about ancient history. Yeah, back then Slick Rick was a better performer than him, but not now.
I mean, Slick Rick was about 15, 20 years into performing during that time I'm talking about.
I'm just saying that Jay-Z's improved.
You don't get that's what I'm saying. Y'all don't get the discount. Like the fucking 20, 25 years of Slick Rick performing better than Jay. Like, right.
Okay. That's fair.
Right. Slick Rick been on stage since 1985, Mike. You understand? So it's like from 85 to 2005. No, Jay don't have no 20-year run on stage like that.
That's fair.
Jermaine Johnson with the super chat. Performer.
I guess I'm looking at it currently. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, in 2012, Jay sold out 6 shows at the Barclay in Brooklyn. Solo. And surprise performance at the 2014 Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival. Solo. I was there for both performances and for Watch the Throne at Madison Square Garden.
First of all, take that Kanye stuff and toss it out. What did he say, 2012?
He said 2014, right?
I thought he said 12. I'm trying to figure out. My daughter was either 5 or 7. She's 16 now. I'm just doing. Let me get the arithmetic correct. I usually work the arithmetic around my daughter's age. Was my daughter 5 or 7 now? Oh, she's 16 now. We talking about some old shit.
Jay Short with the super chat says, Mike, that technical breath control wordplay argument you make sounds like the same argument Eminem fans make. They don't care about the songs, just saying. Okay.
Mike, it'd be funny how you be on that. No, Mike, when you be taking up for some people, you be on the Eminem line with a lot of the technical stuff, especially like with the J shit and with the LL stuff. You talk about all these things that J and LL technically do. Like M.
Ray Wana with the super chat says 444 tour did 56 million. What's Nas doing?
The what tour?
The 444 tour. I didn't even know there was a 444.
First of all, Mike, you want to know why you didn't know there was a 444 tour? Because the performances wasn't like that. But whatever. Career longevity quality, Jay-Z or Slick Rick?
That's Jay.
Okay. Jay's going to move on. You better be happy he didn't make it The Voice because his ass be losing. And he almost made it there.
Let's pick this up next show, but this is great.
All right. Slick Rick at 18, and so we got Jay at 17 right now. Hold on.
No.
Who we putting Jay up against next? Black Thought, Method Man, Chuck D, Common, Raekwon, Ghostface. Ooh, Mike, we're putting Jay up against Kanye at 11 next.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Kanye and Jay is how we
I think it'll be Kanye and Jay, and then we'll do LL if he makes it past there, maybe Snoop and Big.
No, we have him at number 2. We had Big at 5. Big only slid 3 spots.
Okay.
So right now, he really, to keep pace, he needs to at least make it back up to KRS at 5. I'm going to tell you the truth, though, Mike. You want to know the truth? He ain't making it past Tupac, I don't think. He going to probably end up at 5. He's not making it past Pop.
Tupac might move up.
Tupac might end up being number 1 on this list.
Yeah, he might move up. Yeah.
Totally see that.
All right.
In fact, like, only thing you're going to beat him on is, like, lyrics. Maybe. Like, the top tier guys are going to beat him on lyrics. It's a couple of them on storytelling, but he's hard to beat.
Yeah, he's tough. All right. Well, everybody have a great night. Great show. This was fun.